Listen to me. You don't have time to wait. You don't have time to make excuses. You don't have time to blame your past, your family, your situation. You've got now, and if you waste now, you might not get later. You say you want success, you say you want to level up, then you've got to move. Don't wait till Monday. Don't wait for the perfect time, because the perfect time is a myth. The perfect time is right now. You're sitting on talent, you're sitting on ideas, you're sitting on greatness, but guess what? Nothing happens until you act. Action makes the difference between a dream and a memory. You want to build your legacy? Take action. You want to make your family proud? Take action. You want to change your life? Take action right now. Stop waiting. Stop hoping that someday, somehow the conditions will be just right. The truth is, there's no such thing as the perfect time. There's no magical moment coming that's going to give you the green light, where the skies open up and success walks down and taps you on the shoulder and says, now's the time. That doesn't happen. That's a myth. The perfect time is a trap, a trick your mind plays on you to keep you in the same place. People talk about getting started tomorrow, Monday, after graduation, after they get some sleep, after they get a little more experience, after they move cities, after they get over their fears. And while they wait, life is happening. While they hesitate, someone else is getting up, putting in the work, grinding, failing, learning, adjusting, and winning. Not because they're smarter, not because they're more talented, but because they made a decision to act now, not later. Understand this, the only time you own is right now. The future is not promised. Tomorrow doesn't care about your plans. Life doesn't wait for your convenience. The world keeps spinning, whether you act or not. So every minute you spend waiting, you're falling behind. While you're overthinking, someone else is overworking. While you're preparing, someone else is producing. I need you to wake up to the fact that now is your greatest asset. You can't build momentum in theory. You can't get results with ideas alone. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. The idea that you will start when it feels right is dangerous because you're dependent on feelings. And feelings lie. Feelings say stay in bed. Feelings say you're not ready. Feelings say, what if you fail? But purpose says to go now. Discipline says to start now. Faith says to trust the process. Do you know how many people died with their dreams still locked inside of them? How many people went to their grave saying, I was going to start that business? You're not too early and you're not too late. You're right on time as long as you move right now. You've been talking about your goals. You've been telling everybody what you're about to do. You've been posting the quotes, sharing the plans. But what have you done about it? Talking is cheap. Planning is safe. But action is risky. Action means you might fail. But guess what? You might fly. You might win. You might become everything you were created to be. But only if you move. You're waiting for motivation. Let me be real with you. Motivation is a luxury. You don't need motivation to move. You need commitment. You need to look at your life and decide that you're tired of being stuck, tired of being average, tired of watching everyone else pass you by. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when you move. If you want a breakthrough, if you want transformation, if you want to level up, it's not going to happen in the future. It starts today, right now, this second. You don't need a new year. You don't need a Monday. You don't need to wait for the stars to align. You just need to take the first step. One step. That's how the journey starts. Excuses don't build empires. Excuses don't win championships. Excuses don't write books, start businesses, or change lives. Action does. It's easy to sit back and explain why things aren't working out. It's easy to list all the reasons you haven't started, why you're stuck, why you're still in the same place. But at the end of the day, those reasons are just excuses dressed up to sound legitimate. You can either have excuses or you can have results, but you can't have both. Excuses are comfortable. They give you something to fall back on. They make it easy to point fingers at your upbringing, at your boss, at your environment, at the economy. But hear me clearly. Your success is your responsibility. That's not harsh, that's empowering. Because if it's up to you, that means you don't have to wait on anyone else to change your life. When you understand this, you stop blaming the world and you start building your world. Think about it. Every excuse you make is another brick in the wall between you and your goals. So I don't have time. Well, brick. I don't know enough. Brick. I'm too tired. Brick. I failed before. Another brick. And pretty soon you built a prison around your potential. And you did it with your own hands. Not because you weren't capable, but because you chose comfort over commitment. Let me tell you something. Action doesn't care how you feel. Action doesn't care if you're scared, if you're tired, if you're not 100% ready. Action just demands that you move. You don't need everything to be perfect. You don't need to know how it will all work out. You just need to start. Take the first step, then take the next one. The people who succeed in life aren't the ones with the fewest problems. They're the ones who stop making excuses and start making moves. They fall down, they fail, but they get back up every time. Why? Because they know action is the only thing that produces results. Excuses might make you feel better temporarily, but they won't change your situation. Only action does that. You say you don't have time, but look at how you spend your day. You've got time for scrolling, for Netflix, for gossip, for things that don't feed your future. Time is not the problem. Your priorities are. You're not too busy, you're just not focused. And focus only comes when you decide that results matter more than reasons. You say you're too tired. I get it. Life is exhausting. But let me ask you something. Are you tired of the grind? Or are you tired of being in the same place? Is that kind of tired? Tired of unrealized dreams? Tired of living below your potential? That should push you to act, not rest. You say you failed before, okay? Who hasn't? Failure is part of the process. Failure is proof you tried. But excuses use failure as a stop sign. Action uses it as a lesson. You're not a failure unless you quit. If you're still breathing, you still got fight in you. So use it. You say you don't know where to start. Good. That means you're ready to grow. Because nobody has all the answers in the beginning. Every expert was once a beginner. Every master started as a student. You don't need to know it all. You just need to be willing to learn, willing to take imperfect action and improve as you go. Let me hit you with the truth. Your situation may not be your fault, but your response is your responsibility. Life's not fair. Things will happen to you that you didn't choose, didn't deserve. But excuses take your power away. They say it's not my fault, so I can't fix it. Action says it may not be my fault, but I refuse to be a victim. I will rise anyway. The moment you stop justifying inaction, you start gaining traction. Because every time you act, even if it's small, you send a message to your mind and body. We're not staying here. We're moving forward. And that momentum, that builds confidence. Confidence comes from doing, not thinking. You want to believe in yourself. Start proving to yourself that you're serious. People love to say they want it. They talk about success, about freedom, about legacy. But talking doesn't change lives. While others are talking, you need to be doing. While they're planning the perfect launch, you're launching messy. While they're overthinking, you're executing. That's the difference between dreamers and doer. You got dreams. Now put them on your calendar. Schedule the steps. Block out the time. Break them down. Just dreams without a deadline are just fantasies. You don't want to be one of those people still about to do something 10 years from now. And here's the truth. Action won't always feel good. You won't always be motivated. That's why discipline matters. You don't act because you feel like it. You act because it's necessary. Because your future depends on it. Because your family depends on it. Because your peace depends on it. Every single day you have a choice. Excuses or results. That's it. No middle ground. One leads to regret. The other leads to reward. One keeps you trapped. The other sets you free. One looks for reasons. The other creates solutions. So which will you choose? Because the life you want is waiting. But it won't wait forever. You got to stop explaining and start executing. You got to stop saying one day and make today day one. You've got to stop waiting for permission and give yourself the green light. Excuses sound good to the person making them, but results speak for themselves. Results don't need defending. They shine. They stand. They scream, I showed up, I worked, I acted. So if you want it, stop making excuses. Start taking action. Start now. Most people spend their lives waiting. waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right person, or the perfect condition. But here's the reality. Waiting kills dreams. It slowly suffocates potential. If you want to change your life, you must stop waiting and start acting. The perfect time is a myth. It does not exist. The stars will never align exactly the way you want them to. The truth is, if you're always waiting for the right time, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. There's power in now, right now. This moment is all you really have. The past is gone and the future isn't promised. All you can control is what you do today. That's why the most successful people in the world are those who understand the urgency of now. They don't just dream. They move. They take imperfect action. They make the call. They send the email. They hit the gym. They start the business. Not next week. Not next year. Today. Taking action now doesn't mean you're reckless. It means you're committed. It means you're not going to let another day pass while your dreams collect dust. You're not going to sit around hoping things get better. You're going to make them better. Even if you're scared, even if you're unsure, even if you fail, you know you moved. You tried. You gave it your all. You see, success rewards the bold, not the hesitant. The world doesn't hand out trophies for great ideas. It rewards execution. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you never move on it, it stays in your mind. It never becomes real. And the sad truth is, most people die with their ideas still inside them because they were too afraid to act. Let that sink in. Every day you hesitate, every day you procrastinate, you're robbing yourself of a life you could be living. You're pushing your goals further out of reach, not because you can't do it, but because you didn't start. And time doesn't care about your excuses. It keeps moving whether you're ready or not. And that's why acting now is so critical. You don't have time to waste. Not when your potential is on the line. We think we have time. That's the biggest lie we tell ourselves. We act like there's always another day, another chance, another window. But how many more tomorrows are you going to gamble with? The truth is, nobody knows how much time they have left. So why wait? Why not use every ounce of today to move the needle forward? Too many people are waiting for clarity. They want to see the entire path before they take the first step. But that's not how growth works. The path reveals itself when you move. You don't get clarity and then act. You act, and then clarity comes. You learn, you adjust, you get stronger. But none of that happens if you don't move first. Think about a GPS. It doesn't tell you the entire route all at once. It gives you the next turn. But if you don't start the car, you're going nowhere. Life is the same way. You've got to start driving. The destination becomes clearer with each step. But the first step, that one's yours. You have to own it. No one can take it for you. Sometimes we wait because we're afraid of failure. But what if the real failure is never trying? What if the real regret isn't falling down, but never giving yourself the chance to rise? When you take action, even if you stumble, you gain experience. You gain wisdom. You build character. But when you sit on the sidelines, all you gain is doubt. You begin to second guess yourself. You start to believe the lie that you're not good enough, all because you never gave yourself the opportunity to prove otherwise. You have to treat your goals like they're urgent, like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your mental health, your peace, your purpose, they're all tied to whether or not you're moving in alignment with your calling. When you know you're supposed to do something and you don't do it, there's an internal conflict that starts to grow. That conflict becomes stress, anxiety, depression. Because deep down, you know you're playing small. You know you were made for more. So what's stopping you? Fear, doubt, perfectionism? Those are just illusions. They're stories your mind tells you protect you from discomfort. But nothing great comes from comfort. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort. Fulfillment is born from action. The longer you delay, the heavier the burden becomes. So drop the weight. Take the step. Begin now, and remember, small steps still move you forward. You don't need to leap. You just need to move. One email, one workout, one chapter, one conversation, one habit. Stack enough small steps, and you'll look up one day and realize you built a life you used to dream about. But it all starts with the decision to act. Not later, not someday, now. Your dreams are waiting. Your purpose is calling, and the only thing standing between you and the life you want is action. Not luck, Not talent, not timing, action. So stop waiting for the green light. You are the green light. You are the green light. Give yourself permission to go, to build, to create, to change. Because one day you won't have time to chase your dreams. So today is everything. Today is your moment. Today is your chance. Take it. Success isn't a result of some magical moment. It's not something that happens overnight. And it doesn't come just because you want it badly enough. Success is earned through consistent, disciplined action. Discipline is what separates those who wish from those who achieve. You can be motivated, you can be inspired, you can even be talented. But if you lack discipline, your dreams will always remain dreams. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early when you rather sleep in. It's putting in the extra hours when your body is tired. It's saying no to distraction, temptations and excuses that pull you away from your goals. Anyone can start something when they're excited or when everything feels fresh. Or this thing feels fresh. But it's the ones who stay committed long after the excitement fades who actually win. Let's be honest. There are going to be days when you don't feel like showing up. Days when the progress feels slow. Days when you question yourself. That's when discipline steps in. That's when it really matters. Because if you only do the work when you feel like it, you'll never reach your full potential. The most successful people in any field don't wait for perfect moves or ideal circumstances. They show up day after day, no matter how they feel. They've trained themselves to follow through regardless of emotion. That's the power of discipline. It builds habits, and habits shape your life. Every small, consistent action you take, whether it's positive or negative, is laying a brick in the foundation of your future. If you discipline yourself to work, learn, grow, and push daily, you are literally constructing the life you want. But if you fall into the habit of making excuses, putting things off, or cutting corners, you're building a life full of regret, frustration, and missed opportunities. Discipline is also about focus. It's about knowing what matters and sticking to it. In a world full of distractions, social media, constant notifications, endless entertainment, it's easy to get sidetracked. It's easy to waste time. But disciplined people understand the value of time, They treat it like the priceless resource it is. They don't waste it on things that don't move them forward. They protect their focus. They're intentional with their energy. And because of that, they make consistent progress while others fall behind. Now, here's the truth. Discipline isn't always glamorous. It's not always Instagram worthy. It's not loud. It's quiet. It's private. It's the early mornings when no one's watching. It's the hours of practice, repetition, and patience. Saying no to a party because you got work to do. It's choosing your future over your feelings. And most people aren't willing to make that trade. That's why discipline is rare. And success is even rarer. But when you commit to discipline, something incredible happens. You start to build confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you grow stronger. You prove to yourself that you can do hard things. And that self-trust becomes unshakable. You begin to operate at a higher standard, not because someone else is watching, but because you demand more from yourself. Discipline also means embracing the grind. Greatness lives in the repetition, the workouts, the writing, the studying, the practice. It's not always fun, but it's always worth it because the grind sharpens you, it strengthens your character, it prepares you for the challenges ahead. And over time, it becomes your edge, the thing that sets you apart. It's not talent alone that wins championships or builds businesses or changes lives. It's discipline, the willingness to keep going, to stay locked in, to do the work when nobody else will. Talent might give you a head start, but discipline will keep you in the race. It will carry you through the setbacks, the fatigue, the rejection. It will make you resilient. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is, I'll do it later. Later quickly turns into never. Discipline says, I'll do it now. And that mindset changes everything. Because when you stop waiting for the right mood, the right moment, or the right motivation, and you start training yourself to act no matter what, you become unstoppable. You won't always feel motivated, but if you stay disciplined, you won't need motivation. You'll have habits that carry you when your energy is low. You have systems that guide your actions. And over time, those small daily wins will stack up into major victories. It's not about doing one massive thing once. It's about doing the small things right over and over and over again. And yes, there will be setbacks. There will be times you fall off. You might miss a day or have a rough patch. That's normal. But disciplined people don't stay down. They get back up. They reset. They recommit. That's the difference. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. So if you want to change your life, if you want to reach your full potential, discipline isn't optional. It's essential. Start building it like a muscle. One decision at a time. One choice at a time. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Keep your word to yourself. Be consistent, even when it's hard. Because in the end, discipline is freedom. It gives you control over your actions, your outcomes, and your future. It gives you the power to say, I will not be defined by my feelings or my circumstances. I will be defined by my effort, my habits, and my relentless commitment to becoming my best self. Success isn't complicated. It's not easy, but it's not complicated. Show up, do the work, stay disciplined, and the results will speak for themselves. You only get one shot at this life, and every second you spend doubting yourself or waiting for the right time is a second you'll never get back. You don't have unlimited chances. You don't get a rewind button. This is not a rehearsal. This is the real thing. Every breath you take is a gift, and every day you wake up is another opportunity to get closer to your purpose. But here's the hard truth. That opportunity won't last forever. The clock is ticking. Your dreams, your goals, your calling, they're all waiting on you to stop hesitating and start executing. Too many people are out here acting like they got all the time in the world. I'll do it tomorrow, they say. Next week is better. But tomorrow isn't promised. Next week is not guaranteed. Not guaranteed. Life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't wait for you to stop being scared. It keeps moving. And if you're not moving with it, you're getting left behind. You got to stop thinking you have time. You got it. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you'll spend your whole life waiting. Some people talk about their goals for years, but never take the first step. They dream about success. They fantasize about changing their life, but they never move. Why? Because they're afraid. Afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid they're not good enough. But fear is a liar. It whispers doubts into your mind to keep you comfortable. And if you let it, fear will rob you of everything you could become. The truth is, you'll never be 100% ready. You'll never feel completely prepared. That's why you have to act anyway. You have to move in spite of the fear. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that your purpose matters more than your comfort. When you realize that you only get one shot at this life, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop chasing approval from people who don't understand your vision. You stop scrolling endlessly, binge watching distractions and making excuses. Instead, you get focused. You get intentional. You start putting your energy into what really counts. Your growth, your vision, your legacy. Think about it. Every great achievement started with one decision. A decision to begin, to try, to move forward. No one ever built a meaningful life by standing still. You've got to get uncomfortable. You've got to stretch yourself. You've got to start showing up differently. Because the life you want is on the other side of action. It's on the other side of effort, consistency, sacrifice. You're not going to drift into success. You're going to have to fight for it. And yes, it's going to be hard. There will be obstacles. There will be setbacks. But those are part of the journey. Don't let them stop you. Let them shape you. Every challenge you face is preparing you. It's building your resilience, your character, your strength. That's why you can't quit. That's why you can't give up just because it's tough. You've got to remember why you started. You've got to keep pushing forward because the pain of discipline is always less than the pain of regret. Let's talk about regret for a moment. Regret is one of the heaviest burdens a person can carry. It's the voice that says, I should have. It's the memory of a door you didn't walk through, an opportunity you let pass, a dream you never chased. And the longer you wait, the louder that voice becomes. But the good news is this, you still have time. If you're breathing, you've got a shot, but you have to act now. You can't keep putting it off. You have to make the decision today, not next month, not next year, today. Because one day a later becomes a too late. You were created for something great. You have gifts, talents, and a story that no one else can bring to the world. But if you don't take action, the world never gets to experience what you're capable of. That's the tragedy. Not that you tried and failed, but that you never tried at all. That you let your dreams die inside you. You've got to believe that your life matters. Your voice matters. Your contribution matters. But belief alone isn't enough. Belief must be backed by action. So what does that look like? It means waking up with purpose. It means setting goals and holding yourself accountable. It means doing the work even when you don't feel like it. It means investing in your mind, your health, your craft. It means staying committed when the excitement wears off. It means being relentless. It means taking that first step and then the next and the next until you look up and realize you become everything you once dreamed of being. Stop waiting for someone to rescue you. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Take responsibility for your life. Own your journey. Step into your power. This is your moment. Don't waste it. Take action now because you may not get another chance. Live in such a way that when your story is told, people say, that person showed up. That person gave it their all. That person didn't wait. They took their shot. Every day is a new opportunity to move closer to your goals. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start. Progress is better than perfection. Momentum beats hesitation. Consistency beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Your dreams are waiting. The life you've imagined is waiting, but it won't wait forever. So take the shot. Go all in. Leave no doubt. Make this life count because you only get one. Here is a 600-word conclusion paragraph that powerfully wraps up the take action now speech in the voice and style of Eric Thomas. So now we've reached the moment of truth, the moment where you have to decide who you're going to be. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday, right now. Because you've heard it all. You've been told that you've got one life. You've been told that you can't afford to wait. And you've been told that nobody's coming to save you because you got everything you need already inside of you, the dreams you have. They were placed in your heart for a reason. The vision you see is yours to chase, but it's not going to manifest just because you want it. It's going to manifest because you work for it, because you fought for it, because you fought for it, because you refused to quit when it got hard. That's what taking action looks like. Look, I don't care where you started. I don't care what you don't have. You might not come from a perfect background. You might not have had the support, the resources, the education, or the encouragement. But I'm telling you right now, none of that matters if you got heart, if you got discipline, if you got the courage to take action even when you're afraid. You don't need a perfect plan. You need passion. You need purpose. You need the hunger to say, I'm not going to sit on the sidelines anymore. I'm going to step into the arena and fight for the life I want. Because this isn't about motivation anymore. This is about responsibility. You owe it to yourself to stop playing small. You owe it to your family to become everything you're capable of. You owe it to the people watching you, the people counting on you to rise up and lead by example. Somebody out there is waiting on your story. Somebody out there needs you. Y'all listen to me. The way you start your day determines how you live your life. And I'm telling you right now, if you wake up and you don't start with gratitude, you already lost the battle. See, every morning you open your eyes, that's a gift. That's purpose. That's potential. That's another shot to do it better than you did yesterday. But some of y'all waking up complaining, I'm tired, it's too early, I gotta go to work. No. You get to wake up. You get to breathe. You get to chase your dream. That alarm clock didn't wake you up. Grace did. God did. Purpose did. And when you wake up with gratitude in your heart, you set the tone for the whole day. You can't be thankful and negative at the same time. You can't focus on complaining while you're focused on blessings. Gratitude builds momentum. It builds energy. It builds resilience. I dare you, before you even touch your phone, before you look at the world, look within, say thank you out loud. Thank you for life. Thank you for another day. Thank you for strength. Start your morning like a warrior, not a worrier. Gratitude ain't weak, it's a weapon. And if you want to go to the next level, you better learn to use it every single morning. Gratitude resets your mindset.
It sounds simple, but it's one of the most powerful truths you can ever embrace. When you wake up in the morning, your first thoughts shape your day. They guide your emotions, your actions, your energy, and even how you respond to people and situations. That's why starting your day with gratitude is not just a nice thing to do, it's a strategy for success, peace, and purpose. Think about it. You've just opened your eyes, you're still in bed, and in that moment, your mind is either reaching for stress, worries, distractions, or it's reaching for something higher. When you consciously decide to begin the day with gratitude, you interrupt the cycle of negativity before it starts. You take control. You're no longer letting the world set your mood. You setting the tone for the world you're about to step into. Gratitude is not passive. It's an active decision. It's an act of discipline and awareness. It's easy to wake up and immediately think about the bills you have to pay, the job you're not passionate about, the argument you had last night, or how tired you feel. But gratitude flips the script. Gratitude says, before I complain about what I lack, let me acknowledge what I have. And when you do that, something powerful happens inside you. Your mind begins to rewire itself. You stop seeing problems as burdens and start viewing them as challenges, as lessons, as stepping stones. That's the reset. That's the shift. You're no longer stuck in a loop of fear, anxiety, or disappointment. You've realigned your mind with hope, purpose, and abundance. People don't always realize how much power they give away each morning. The moment they check their phone, scroll through social media, or read the news, they're allowing the outside world to decide how they feel. But when you start with gratitude, you reclaim that power. You say, no, I'm going to begin from a place of strength, not stress. You become intentional about your energy. This isn't just about feeling good either. Science backs it up. Studies show that people who practice daily gratitude have lower levels of stress, sleep better, and even have stronger immune systems. It changes your brain chemistry. Gratitude increases dopamine and serotonin, the chemicals that make you feel joy and peace. So it's not just a mindset, it's medicine. When you reset your mind with gratitude, you become more focused. You stop chasing distractions and start chasing purpose. You begin to see opportunities where you used to see obstacles. You engage with your goals from a place of abundance instead of desperation. You're more patient, more present, and more powerful. Let me tell you, life will always have problems. That's a guarantee. You will have challenges. There will be mornings where you don't feel like getting up, where things feel heavy, where the future feels uncertain. But gratitude doesn't wait for everything to be perfect. It doesn't rely on good circumstances. Gratitude says, even in the storm, I choose to be thankful. That choice is what resets your mindset. Imagine starting your day by saying, thank you for this breath. Thank you for another shot at life. Thank you for the people who love me. Thank you for the lessons I've learned, even the hard ones. You're not pretending everything is great. You're choosing to focus on the things that are. That decision, that focus, that practice, it becomes your superpower. Gratitude doesn't ignore reality, it reframes it. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. Instead of dreading the day, you step into it with purpose. Instead of looking for what might go wrong, you begin searching for what can go right. That shift in perspective is the difference between surviving and thriving. And let me tell you something else. The people who are most successful in life, whether it's in business, relationships, health, or mindset, they've learned how to control the way they think. They've trained themselves to be grateful, not just when life is good, but especially when it's hard. Because gratitude is a weapon. It's how you fight back against doubt, fear, anxiety, and negativity. So the next time you wake up, before you do anything, pause, breathe, speak gratitude out loud, make it real, say it like you mean it, let it set the tone. Don't let your circumstances decide your attitude. Let your attitude influence your circumstances. Gratitude resets your mindset. It puts you in the driver's seat. It tells your soul that you're ready. It tells the universe that you're open. It tells your purpose that you're serious. And that's how greatness begins. Not with luck, not with talent, but with a heart that chooses to be thankful before anything else. That's how you win. One grateful morning at a time. Waking up is a privilege, not a guarantee. It's one of those truths that we often overlook, something so basic yet so powerful. Every time your eyes open in the morning, every time your lungs take in a fresh breath of air, That's not just biology, it's a blessing. It means you've been given another shot, another opportunity to live, to grow, to make an impact, to chase your dreams. But many of us treat it like it's automatic, like it's owed to us, like it's part of the package deal of life. The truth is, it's not. There are people who went to bed last night and didn't get to see the sunrise today. And yet here you are, alive, breathing, thinking, reading. That alone is reason enough to be thankful. We live in a world that moves fast. Alarms go off, notifications buzz, schedules demand our attention, and responsibilities weigh heavy. And in all that noise, we forget the miracle of simply waking up. The moment your feet touch the ground, that's not something to take lightly. That's a divine reset. No matter what happened yesterday, whether you failed, fell short, argued, felt broken, it doesn't matter. Waking up means you've got a brand new chance to do it differently, to do it better. And that's what makes waking up a privilege. It's not just about being alive. It's about what you do with the life you've been given. Every morning you wake up is proof that your story isn't finished. There's more to write, more to say, more to accomplish. You're not done yet. And that alone should spark a fire inside you that should ignite a level of gratitude that makes you want to show up fully with heart and hustle every single day. Too many people waste their mornings. They wake up and instantly complain about the job they have to go to, the body they're in, the life they're living. But think about this. There's someone out there lying in a hospital bed praying for just one more normal morning. Just one more chance to walk, to talk, to breathe without pain. And here you are complaining about the very thing someone else is dreaming about. Waking up isn't something you have to do. It's something you get to do. When you understand that it changes how you live, you stop taking time for granted. You stop living on autopilot. You begin to realize that every second you've been given is a gift. And gifts are meant to be used, cherished, and honored. You start to move with purpose. You speak with more kindness. You work with more intention. You stop wasting your energy on things that don't matter and begin investing in what truly does. Waking up gives you access to change. It means whatever mistake you made yesterday, you can correct it today. Whatever goal you didn't hit last week, you got time to chase it now. You're not stuck unless you choose to be. That's what makes waking up such a powerful moment. It's freedom, it's permission, it's potential. And listen, nobody knows how many mornings they have left. That's the truth we don't like to talk about. We assume tomorrow is coming. We act like we've got endless time, but we don't. That's why it's so important to treat each morning like the gift that it is. Wake up and live like it matters, because it does. You matter. Your life matters. Your purpose matters. And every single morning is a reminder that the world still needs you in it. Gratitude grows when you recognize that your time here isn't promised. It humbles you. It motivates you. It makes you look at the clock differently. Suddenly, 5 more minutes of sleep isn't worth more than 5 minutes of growth. Scrolling on your phone doesn't feel as important as checking in on your dream. Hitting snooze isn't as appealing as stepping into your calling. When you see waking up as a privilege, you start showing up like you mean it. You move like someone who's been chosen, not cursed. You walk like someone who's aware of the blessing. You talk like someone who knows that time is sacred. And that mindset, that awareness, that's what separates people who exist from people who live. So tomorrow morning, when your eyes open, pause. Don't rush into the noise. Don't jump right into distraction. Take one deep breath and realize you didn't wake yourself up. The alarm clock didn't do it. Grace did. God did. Purpose did. That breath in your lungs is evidence that your mission on this earth isn't done yet. You've still got something to give, something to build, something to become. Waking up is not routine. It's a reminder that you're alive for a reason. And when you carry that awareness into your day, everything changes. Your attitude shifts, your focus sharpens, your energy multiplies. Because when you know that today wasn't promised, you stop wasting it. You start living it fully, gratefully, powerfully. So don't just wake up. Wake up with intention. Wake up with gratitude. Wake up ready to give this day everything you've got, because you've been given the chance. And that chance is the greatest privilege of all. Gratitude fuels purpose. It may sound like a motivational quote, but it's a deep truth that can transform how you live your life. Purpose doesn't just come from setting goals or chasing dreams. It comes from recognizing that your life, your opportunities, and your experiences all mean something. When you live in gratitude, you begin to see your purpose more clearly. You start to move through life with more clarity, more passion, and more direction because you're no longer focused on what's missing. You're focused on what's possible. When you're grateful, you stop asking, why don't I have more? And you start asking, what can I do with what I've got? That shift in thinking is where purpose is born. See, purpose isn't just about what you want. It's about what you're willing to give. It's about what you're willing to serve, build, and contribute to the world. Gratitude gives you the eyes to see your life not as a burden, but as a platform. Not as a series of struggles, but as a series of assignments. You begin to recognize that your story matters, your gifts matter, and your voice matters. Think about it. When you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, when you're bitter about your situation or your setbacks, your vision gets clouded. You can't see your purpose because you're too focused on your pain. But when you practice gratitude, your heart opens up. You stop seeing life as something that's happening to you and start seeing it as something that's happening for you. Even the struggles become part of the calling. Even the tough moments have meaning. And when you can find meaning in your moments, you begin to walk in purpose. Gratitude is a compass. It keeps you centered when life gets confusing. It reminds you of what's real and what matters. Purpose isn't just about chasing big dreams. It's about being faithful in small things. And when you're thankful for the small things, when you appreciate the little moments, the ordinary gifts, the daily lessons, that's when you start to tap into your deeper calling. Because here's the truth. You can't live with passion if you're always living with resentment. You can't build something meaningful if all you feel is entitlement. Purpose requires perspective. You have to see your life through the right lens. And gratitude gives you that lens. It helps you see your gifts instead of your gaps. It reminds you that you already have enough to start, enough to serve, enough to grow. Some people are waiting for everything to be perfect before they pursue their purpose. They say, I'll go after it when I have more time, more money, more support, more clarity. But gratitude says, start with what you have. Use what's in your hands. Be faithful with your now. That's how purpose is unlocked, not by waiting for more, but by doing more with less. And the only way you can do that is if you're grateful. Gratitude gives you strength when the journey gets hard. Because let's be honest, pursuing purpose isn't easy. It comes with setbacks, failures, disappointments, and doubts. But when you're grounded in gratitude, you don't give up as easily. You don't let challenges defeat you. Instead, you find the lesson, the growth, the hidden blessing. You stay in the fight because you're not just doing it for recognition or rewards. You're doing it because you're thankful to even be in the arena. That kind of mindset is powerful. It's magnetic. It inspires others. People are drawn to those who live with gratitude and purpose because there's a light in them that can't be dimmed. They're not bitter. They're not chasing empty validation. They're walking in something real, something bigger than themselves. And that's what we need more of in this world. People who know what they're here for and are grateful to live it out. When you wake up in the morning and say thank you, you're not just acknowledging the gift of life. You're activating your purpose. You're reminding yourself that you got work to do, that there's someone out there who needs your voice, your presence, your story, that you're not just here to survive, you're here to serve. And that mission, that sense of divine assignment becomes your fuel. You start to see the people around you differently. You listen more deeply, you give more freely, you work more passionately, not because everything is perfect, but because you've learned how to be grateful in the middle of the process. And that gratitude transforms your process into purpose. You no longer feel lost or aimless. You wake up with intention. You move with conviction. You live like it matters. So don't wait for a sign. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait until life gets easier. Gratitude is your starting point. Gratitude is the doorway to your calling. When you make it your daily habit, you will discover that your purpose was never hidden. It was just waiting for you to pay attention. And once you see it, once you really embrace it, everything changes. You stop chasing meaning and start creating it. You stop asking what's missing and start declaring, I'm ready. Because gratitude fuels purpose. It makes your life rich, not in stuff, but in substance. And when you live with that fire in your heart, when you rise every morning knowing you've been given a gift and a mission, you become unstoppable. There's something powerful about setting the tone for your day, and it all begins with how you start your morning. Before the world gets loud, before responsibilities demand your attention, there's a window of time, those first few moments after waking up, that determine the direction your day is going to take. Gratitude in those moments is like a steering wheel. It puts you in control. It gives you focus. It reminds you that no matter what lies ahead, you're already starting from a place of peace, appreciation, and strength. Most people roll out of bed and they immediately reach for their phone. They check messages, emails, social media, and before they've even brushed their teeth, they're already reacting to the world. That's a problem. Because when you start your day in reaction mode, you give away your power. You let external circumstances dictate your internal state. But when you start your day with gratitude, you reclaim your control. You choose your mindset before the world tries to choose it for you. Imagine waking up and before doing anything else, you take a deep breath and say, thank you. Not for anything big, not for some dramatic breakthrough, just for waking up, for the breath in your lungs, for the chance to begin again. That simple act shifts your energy. It grounds you. It connects you to the present. And it reminds you that even if nothing else goes right today, you've already been given something valuable, life itself. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel good. It makes you think differently. It rewires your brain to focus on what's working instead of what's lacking. It teaches you to see possibilities instead of problems. That shift in thinking changes everything because your thoughts create your emotions. Your emotions influence your actions, and your actions build your reality. When you start your day with positive thoughts, everything that flows from there carries that energy. Let's be real. Life isn't always easy. You're going to have hard days. You're going to face stress, disappointment, and setbacks. But gratitude is like emotional armor. It protects you from negativity. It gives you perspective. You stop letting small inconveniences ruin your whole mood. You stop giving energy to things that don't deserve it. You carry a kind of calm confidence into your day because you've already decided how you're going to show up. When you develop the habit of starting your day with gratitude, you start to notice how everything feels different. You're more patient in traffic. You speak more kindly to others. You treat your work with more care. Why? Because your heart is full. You're not chasing validation or drowning in stress. You're centered. And when you're centered, you perform better, you communicate better, you live better. It's not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing what you focus on. Every morning you wake up, you have two choices. You can focus on your problems or you can focus on your purpose. Gratitude helps you choose purpose. It helps you see that no matter what challenges you're facing, you still have value to give. You still have something to contribute. You still have reasons to keep going. People who start their day with gratitude don't wait for happiness, they create it. They don't wait for everything to go right. They make the most of what's already right. That's the power of intention. That's the power of choice. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. And the way you start your morning sets the tone for those responses. Think of gratitude as a daily ritual. It could be as simple as writing down 3 things you're thankful for, or speaking a short prayer, or just pausing for 30 seconds to breathe and reflect. You don't need an hour-long routine. You just need consistency. Over time, those small acts create massive shifts in your mindset. They teach your brain to default to thankfulness instead of stress, presence instead of distraction, and hope instead of fear. When your mind starts the day in gratitude, your energy attracts better outcomes. You begin to recognize opportunities you might have missed. You handle adversity with more grace. You're more resilient, more grounded, and more joyful. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you've made a choice. You've decided that you're not going to let circumstances dictate your peace. You're going to walk into each day already anchored in something stronger than your situation. So before the emails, before the deadlines, before the meetings, before the noise, give yourself that gift. Pause, reflect, say thank you. Set the tone. You'll be surprised how much better your day feels when you start it from a place of appreciation. It's not magic. It's mindset. And mindset changes everything. Don't underestimate those early moments. Don't waste them on anxiety, on worry, on comparison. Use them to build yourself. Use them to connect to something deeper. Use them to declare how you want to show up in the world. Because when you lead with gratitude, everything that follows becomes lighter, brighter, and more aligned with the life you're trying to create. Gratitude improves mental clarity, and that clarity is essential if you want to live with intention, focus, and peace. We live in a noisy world filled with distractions, worries, opinions, and pressure. From the moment we wake up, our minds are bombarded with messages pulling us in 1,000 different directions. It's easy to get overwhelmed. It's easy to lose sight of what matters, but gratitude cuts through that noise. It brings you back to center. It clears the mental fog, helping you see what's real and what's just mental clutter. When your mind is cluttered, your life becomes scattered. You make decisions out of fear, comparison, or confusion. You're more likely to procrastinate, more likely to react instead of respond, and more likely to feel stuck. But gratitude changes that. It doesn't just make you feel good, it helps you think better. It sharpens your mind by helping you filter out what's unnecessary and focus on what's essential. You start your day from a place of clarity because you're not rushing into action. You're rooted in awareness. Mental clarity doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from having the right perspective. When you start the day in gratitude, you see the blessings in your life. You recognize that despite the challenges, you have things to be thankful for. That awareness pulls you out of negative thinking. It stops the cycle of rumination and overthinking. It quiets the mental chatter. Gratitude shifts your mind from what's wrong to what's strong. Have you ever noticed that when you're grateful, you're more present? You're not stuck in the past, and you're not anxious about the future? You're in the now, you're aware of your surroundings, you appreciate the moment, and that presence gives you power. It allows you to make thoughtful decisions, to listen more intently, and to act with intention instead of impulse. Clarity isn't just about knowing what to do, it's about being fully engaged with where you are. Gratitude acts like a lens. It helps you zoom in on what really matters and blur out the noise. You stop wasting mental energy on things that don't serve you, like gossip, jealousy, or regret. You stop overanalyzing every decision. You stop chasing perfection. Instead, you embrace progress. You move forward with simplicity, with focus, with peace of mind. That's what mental clarity looks like. Not a perfect life, but a clear mind navigating an imperfect world with wisdom and grace. Another way gratitude brings clarity is by aligning your values with your actions. When you're thankful, you pay attention to what you truly care about. You prioritize relationships, purpose, and growth over ego, competition, and distraction. You stop living on autopilot. You start asking better questions. What do I really want? What's really important? What's the best use of my time and energy today? That kind of intentional thinking only comes when your heart is open, and gratitude opens the heart. So many people feel stuck in cycles of stress because they're chasing things that don't truly fulfill them. They're busy but not productive, active but not aligned, moving fast but not moving with direction. That's not clarity, that's chaos. But when you practice gratitude daily, you begin to untangle those knots. You get clear on what fulfills you. You stop living for the applause and start living for alignment. You let go of what you can't control and focus on what you can influence. That mental shift is everything. Gratitude also improves your clarity in relationships. When you're thankful, you communicate with more empathy. You see the good in people. You become less reactive. You stop jumping to conclusions or taking things personally. Your mind isn't clouded with resentment or assumptions. Instead, you listen better, respond with care, and connect more deeply. That kind of clarity can heal relationships, strengthen teams, and build trust. Let's talk about decision making too. A cluttered mind struggles with decisions. You hesitate, overthink, or make choices you later regret. But a grateful mind is calm, is grounded. It knows what matters. Gratitude helps you trust yourself more. It helps you tune in to your intuition. You make clearer, faster, and more aligned decisions. Not because you have all the facts, but because you have a peaceful mind that isn't driven by fear or scarcity. You can even see this in your goals. When you're living in gratitude, your goals are clearer and more authentic. You're not chasing someone else's version of success. You're not setting goals based on insecurity or comparison. You're pursuing what truly lights you up. You know what you're working toward. And you're motivated by appreciation, not desperation. That's clarity in its purest form. And here's the beautiful part. The more clarity you gain, the more grateful you become. It's a cycle. Gratitude brings clarity, and clarity deepens your gratitude. You start noticing more blessings. You see the beauty in small things. You wake up with a sense of peace, not pressure. You go to bed with a sense of accomplishment, not exhaustion. Your mind becomes a space of clarity, creativity, and calm, because you chose to start your day with something as simple and powerful as gratitude. In a world that thrives on urgency, noise, and distraction, mental clarity is a superpower, and gratitude is the path to that power. So if you want to think better, live better, and be more intentional with your life, start each morning with thanks. Say it out loud, write it down, reflect on it, let it shape your thoughts. Because when your mind is clear, your path becomes clearer too. When you wake up and begin your day with gratitude, something profound happens. You immediately shift from a state of expectation to a state of appreciation. And when you're in appreciation, you carry yourself differently. You walk differently. You talk differently. You show up for yourself and others with a level of presence and power that cannot be faked. One of the greatest gifts gratitude gives you is resilience. It's the ability to face your challenges head on without crumbling. It gives you the strength to rise when life tries to knock you down, because it roots you in what's real, what's good, and what's still possible. Gratitude doesn't eliminate adversity. It doesn't shield you from failure, rejection, loss, or pain, but it gives you the mindset to endure and even grow through it. You start recognizing that even in the middle of your worst seasons, there are still things to be thankful for. That doesn't mean you ignore the pain. It means you don't let it consume you. You acknowledge the struggle, but you also acknowledge the strength it's building in you. That shift in mindset changes everything. Most people break when they don't see progress or when they feel like life isn't going their way. But when you start your day with gratitude, you understand that every day is a gift, even the hard one. You see that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And that awareness builds mental and emotional muscle. You become more flexible, more adaptable, more grounded. When obstacles come, you don't panic, you pivot. You don't complain, you recalibrate. You stay focused, not flustered, because you're anchored in something deeper than just what's happening on the surface. Think about the people who inspire you most. Those who've overcome hardship, who've stayed consistent despite setbacks, who've transformed their pain into purpose. What do they all have in common? Gratitude. They don't just push through for the sake of pushing through. They've learned to find meaning in the process. They've learned to find light in the dark. They've trained their minds to focus on what they do have rather than what they lack. That's why they keep going. That's why they're resilient. Gratitude helps you zoom out. It gives you perspective. When you wake up and start the day in a state of thankfulness, you're less likely to get derailed by small inconveniences or temporary discomfort. The traffic, the delays, the criticism, it doesn't shake you because your mind is already calibrated to the bigger picture. You're not living for comfort, you're living for growth. And gratitude makes growth possible because it allows you to extract value from every experience. One of the biggest lies we're told is that strength comes from doing everything perfectly. But real strength comes from continuing when everything's imperfect. It's the quiet endurance, the decision to keep going when the circumstances aren't ideal. And gratitude fuels that endurance. It reminds you why you started. It reminds you what's still worth fighting for. It gives you the emotional stamina to take one more step, to make one more call, to show up one more day, even when you feel like giving up. When you make gratitude a daily practice, you start celebrating progress, not just perfection. That means you begin to see value in every step forward, no matter how small. And when you value progress, you keep moving. You don't get stuck in self-pity or comparison. You don't wait for everything to be perfect before taking action. You realize that your power is in your persistence, not your perfection. And that kind of mindset builds unshakable resilience. There's also a spiritual strength that comes with gratitude. It's that inner knowing that even if you don't have everything you want, you already have enough to start. You already have enough to try. You already have enough to be a blessing to someone else. That spiritual grounding gives you the courage to face fear, to silence doubt, and to rise again and again. Not because life is easy, but because your heart is full. Gratitude keeps you connected to your why. And when your why is strong, your how becomes unstoppable. You'll find the energy. You'll find the courage. You'll find the strategy. Because you're not moving from lack, you're moving from love. Love for life, love for purpose, love for the opportunities you've been given. And that kind of love makes you fierce. It makes you focused. It makes you resilient. So every morning before the world gets loud, before the pressures of the day weigh down on you, pause, give thanks. Name your blessings, feel them. Let that gratitude fill you up, not just emotionally, but spiritually. Let it be the foundation you stand on when the storms come. Let it be your reminder that you've already overcome so much and you're still standing. You're not fragile. You're not weak. You're built for this. And gratitude is your reminder of just how powerful you really are. When you wake up with thanks, you face the day with strength. You carry yourself with confidence. You show up with resilience. And no matter what comes your way, you keep moving forward. Not because life is perfect, but because your perspective is powerful. Gratitude, when practiced daily, especially first thing in the morning, acts as a magnet for positivity. It sets the tone for how you perceive and respond to the world around you. The energy you put out is often the energy that comes back to you. And when you begin your day with a grateful heart, you naturally radiate joy, kindness, and openness. That kind of energy attracts better experiences, better people, and better outcomes. You start drawing in opportunities, not because you're chasing them with desperation, but because you're aligned with abundance and contentment. So many people wake up already thinking about what they lack, what they haven't accomplished, what they don't own, or what's going wrong. That kind of thinking sends a message to the world that they're in a state of scarcity, and scarcity repels opportunity. But when you wake up and immediately shift your focus to what's already good in your life, no matter how small, you communicate to the universe that you're ready for more, not out of desperation, but out of appreciation. That subtle energetic shift makes all the difference. When you carry gratitude into your interactions, you treat people with more warmth and patience. You become someone others want to be around. You listen more intently. You encourage more sincerely. You lead with empathy instead of ego. And people respond to that. They remember how you made them feel. Doors open when you carry the right energy. Relationships deepen. Conversations become more meaningful. You start to experience connection at a higher level. And it all begins with the energy that gratitude brings. Even in business or career settings, gratitude is magnetic. When you walk into work with a thankful mindset, you approach challenges with curiosity rather than frustration. You see problems as chances to grow instead of burdens. Your coworkers notice your attitude. Your team respects your resilience. Your leaders trust your stability. Why? Because people gravitate toward those who uplift the environment, not those who drain it. Gratitude makes you a source of light, and light always draws people in. Gratitude also helps you recognize opportunities you might otherwise overlook. When you're grateful, your perspective shifts from entitlement to awareness. You start noticing the small blessings, a helpful mentor, a new idea, a kind gesture, a fresh start. You're more present, and being present means you catch the little openings that lead to big breakthroughs. So many people miss their blessings because they're too focused on what's next or what's missing. But gratitude sharpens your vision. It helps you see the good that's already within your reach. The energy of gratitude also impacts your self-permission. When you're thankful for who you are and what you've overcome, you radiate confidence. Not arrogance, but a quiet, grounded assurance. You stop needing constant validation because you already feel full. And that kind of self-assured energy attracts people and opportunities. Confidence rooted in gratitude is powerful. It's not about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the most anchored. What's more, gratitude creates a ripple effect. When you lead with thankfulness, others begin to mirror it. You set a tone. You inspire others to pause, reflect, and appreciate their own lives. You create a culture of positivity, even in spaces that might be used to stress or negativity. That energy shift can elevate a family, a workplace, a community, and that's how you become a light in someone else's day, just by choosing to begin yours in gratitude. You also start to attract better habits when you live in gratitude. You naturally take better care of yourself because you appreciate your body and your mind. You invest more intentionally in your time and energy because you're aware of how precious they are. You let go of toxic behaviors and environments because you realize your peace is worth protecting. That internal shift, born from gratitude, guides you toward a life that's more aligned with your highest self. It's important to note that this isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what empowers you rather than what drains you. When you're grateful, you acknowledge that good exists even in the midst of challenges. You train your brain to find what's working instead of fixating on what's broken. That mindset doesn't just feel good, it actually transforms your brain, rewiring your thoughts toward optimism and resilience. And that kind of brain attracts better experiences because it's tuned to see the potential in every moment. There's also a spiritual magnetism that gratitude creates. When you're thankful, you align yourself with a higher frequency. You stop striving from a place of fear and start creating from a place of faith. You trust that more good is on the way because you already see so much good around you. You operate with the belief that life is abundant, not scarce, and that belief manifests into your reality. So each morning, before you check your phone, before you scroll through the news, before you step into the noise, pause, reflect, give thanks. Start small if you have to. Your breath, your bed, a roof over your head. Let that gratitude fill your spirit. Let it shape your thoughts. Let it guide your tone and energy throughout the day. Because when you move through life with gratitude as your foundation, you'll notice that life begins to respond to you in beautiful, unexpected ways. You'll attract peace, opportunity, love, and abundance, not because you were chasing them, but because you were living in a state that welcomed them. That's the magnetic power of gratitude. When you truly understand the power of gratitude, especially when you begin your day with it, your entire life starts to change, not because your circumstances suddenly become perfect, but because your perspective becomes powerful. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you. It's a mindset, a lifestyle, a way of experiencing the world that shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. When you wake up with gratitude in your heart, you start seeing life through a different lens. You stop waiting for happiness to come from outside sources and begin realizing it's something you can choose, something you can generate from within. It doesn't mean you won't have bad days. It doesn't mean challenges will disappear, but it means you'll approach everything with a deeper strength, with more clarity, and with a heart that refuses to be hardened by life's trials. Gratitude softens your pain and sharpens your vision. It makes you resilient, patient, and open to life's lessons. When others give up, gratitude gives you the fuel to keep going. When things don't go as planned, gratitude reminds you that there's still purpose in the process. And when you feel like you have nothing left, gratitude shows you that you still have breath, and that breath is a blessing. The truth is you attract what you embody. If you carry bitterness, you'll attract more reasons to be bitter. But if you carry thankfulness, life will continue giving you more reasons to be thankful. So wake up every morning and claim your power. Take a moment to acknowledge the fact that you're alive, that you've been given another shot to become who you were created to be. Think about how far you've come, how much you've survived, how many moments you thought would break you, but didn't. That's not luck. That's strength. That's growth. That's grace. And when you recognize that, when you live from that awareness, your energy changes. Your energy becomes contagious. You begin to light up rooms without saying a word. You begin to draw in people, opportunities, and experiences that match your frequency. That's not magic. It's mindset. That's not fantasy, it's faith. And it all starts with gratitude. So don't wait for some big breakthrough or milestone to give thanks. Do it now. Do it in the quiet moments. Do it when it's hard. Do it when you're tempted to complain. And especially do it when you rise in the morning. Because how you start your day will shape how you live your day. And if you can start it with a grateful heart, there's no limit to what that day can bring. Gratitude won't just change your mornings, it'll transform your life. Listen to me. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care how hard it's been. You got one job, one mission, one purpose, and that's to win. I will win even when I'm tired, even when I'm broken, even when the odds are against me. I will win, not because life is easy, but because I refuse to quit. You see, winners aren't born, they're built. Built in the dark, built when nobody's watching, built in the gym at 5 a.m., built when you broke but still showing up like you're rich, built when your dreams are laughable to others but real to you. Let me tell you something, every setback is a setup for a comeback. So when I fall, I get up. When I fail, I learn. When I'm doubted, I grind harder, because I'm not chasing victory, I'm becoming it. This ain't about talent. This is about heart. This is about hunger. This is about being willing to suffer now so I can celebrate later. It's about putting in the work when nobody believes in you, even when you barely believe in yourself. I'm not asking for it. I'm claiming it. I'm not hoping for it. I'm working for it. I will win. Winners are built, not born. That's a truth most people don't want to hear, because it means you can't just sit around waiting for greatness to show up in your life. It means you have to go get it. It means the grind is not optional. It's required. You're not going to wake up one morning with all the skills, all the motivation, all the strength and say, today I'm a winner. No, it doesn't work like that. You're going to wake up and feel tired. You're going to feel broken. You're going to feel like nothing's changing. But that's when the building happens. Winners are made in the dark. They're made when nobody's clapping, when nobody's watching, when there's no spotlight, no likes, no followers, just silence. And you, just the weights in the gym, just the books in front of you, just the grind. Because see, it's not about being naturally gifted. It's not about having a silver spoon or a head start. It's about what you do with what you have. And if you can do a lot with a little, if you can push with almost nothing, that's when you start becoming dangerous. Everybody wants to win, but not everybody wants to work. People want to be champions, but they don't want to train like champions. They want the results, but not the repetition. They want the reward, but not the responsibility. But I'm telling you, if you're willing to build, if you're willing to commit, if you're willing to outwork every excuse, you will become a winner. Not just in the game, not just in the classroom, not just in business, but in life. Think about the strongest people you know, the most successful ones, the leaders, the legends, the ones who stand out. Most of them didn't start with anything special. They started where you are, maybe worse, but they chose to build. They chose to suffer through early mornings and late nights. They chose to work while others slept. They chose to sacrifice now so they could celebrate later. They weren't born with a win stamped on their forehead. They forged it, earned it, built it. When the world told them they couldn't, they kept going. When people laughed at their dreams, they stayed focused. When they lost, they studied. When they got knocked down, they got back up with more fire. That's what building looks like. It's not pretty, it's not flashy, it's not easy, but it's real, it's powerful, it's how the greats are made. You see, the truth is nobody sees the work you're doing now, and that's okay, because the goal isn't to be seen, it's to be remembered. When you build yourself, when you craft your mind, your spirit, your grind, day by day, that's when you separate yourself from the average. That's when you level up. That's when you begin to win, not once, not by luck, but over and over again, because it becomes who you are. You become relentless. You become focused. You become a builder of your own destiny. While others are waiting for opportunities, you're creating them. While they're making excuses, you're making progress. While they're watching Netflix, you're writing your own success story, one page at a time. Building doesn't mean being perfect. It means being committed. It means when you mess up, you keep going. When you fall short, you adjust. When you fail, you try again. Winners aren't perfect, they're persistent. And that persistence is built over time. It's built in the cold, early hours when you want to quit, but choose to go one more round. It's built when your body says stop and your heart says push. There's no secret formula. There's no shortcut. There's no easy path. If you want to win, you have to build yourself up brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. You have to become the kind of person who does the hard things, not just once, but consistently. Because the world doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're willing to fight for. And the fight is where the winner is forged. So stop looking at others thinking they had it easier. Stop blaming your past. Stop waiting for something to change and start becoming the change. Start building today, now, with what you have. No more complaining, no more comparing, no more coasting. Winners don't coast. They climb, they dig, they grind, they build. And that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna build yourself into a winner. You're gonna show up when it's hard. You're gonna grind when it's uncomfortable. You're gonna give it everything you have because that's what winners do. They don't wait for it. They become it. You weren't born a winner. You were born with the opportunity to become one if you keep building, keep pushing, keep showing up. One day you'll look in the mirror and realize you didn't just win. You became the kind of person who always finds a way to win. That's who you are. That's who you're becoming. And that's why you will. Pain is part of the process. That's something most people run from. But winners, real winners, they lean into it. They understand that pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher. Pain is the builder. Pain is the fuel that forges strength, character, and greatness. You cannot grow without it. You cannot rise without it. You cannot become something greater unless you're first willing to suffer through what others avoid. You look at any champion, any top performer in sports, in life, in business, none of them escaped pain. They didn't win because it was easy. They won because they were willing to go through what others weren't. They trained when it hurt. They studied when they were tired. They kept showing up when the world said quit. That's the difference. It's not the talent. It's the tolerance. The tolerance for discomfort, failure, frustration, doubt. The ones who can handle the pain of growth are the ones who earn the prize. Most people want comfort. They want safety. They want ease. But that mindset never produces greatness. You don't get muscles without sore days in the gym. You don't get results without long nights grinding when your eyes are heavy and your body's begging you to stop. You don't become a winner by avoiding the hard stuff. You become a winner by enduring it, by walking through the fire and coming out strong. Pain is not a punishment, it's a message. It's the body, the mind, the spirit saying, this is new, this is tough, but this is where the change begins. That burn you feel when you're pushing your limits, that's your body leveling up. That frustration you feel when you fail, that's your brain learning what doesn't work so it can move closer to what does. That heartbreak, that disappointment, that rejection, that's life chiseling away your ego and sharpening your focus. Pain refines you. If you allow it to, it will shape you into something powerful. But too many people run the moment they feel it. They give up at the first sign of resistance. They say, this is too much, this is too hard, this must not be for me. No, that's exactly when you're supposed to push through. That's when you're on the edge of growth. That's when a breakthrough is about to come, if you just keep going. The pain you're feeling now is not here to stop you. It's here to test you, to see how bad you really want it. You say you want success, but are you willing to struggle for it? Are you willing to hurt for it? Are you willing to bleed, sweat, and cry for it? Because the truth is, everybody wants to win until it gets uncomfortable, until it gets real, until it demands everything from you. And the winners are the ones who don't flinch when that moment comes. They don't run from the pain. They embrace it. They look it in the eye and say, let's go. When you're in pain, that's when your choices matter most. That's when your habits are revealed. Will you push through or will you fold? Will you show up or shut down? Will you continue the mission or make an excuse? That decision made over and over again in moments of discomfort is what separates the average from the elite. Winners choose to keep moving even when every step hurts, even when every part of them says stop. That's what it takes. Pain is also where resilience is born. You don't build mental strength on the couch. You build it in the storm. You build it when you've been knocked down and you find the courage to stand again. You build it when everything goes wrong, but you still find something in you that says, I'm not done yet. Every time you endure pain, your threshold increases. What once broke you now barely shakes you. That's growth. That's transformation. So don't curse the pain. Don't wish it away. Use it. Learn from it. Let it sharpen you. Let it motivate you. Let it fuel the fire inside. Because the truth is, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. The pain you feel today becomes the strength you carry tomorrow. And every time you conquer that pain, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. You become unbreakable, unshakable, unstoppable. Understand this, comfort is a trap. It whispers lies. It tells you to play it safe. But pain tells you the truth. Pain tells you where your limits are and gives you the chance to break them. Every champion you admire, every success story you look up to, They all walk through pain to get there. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. That's what built their character. That's what forged their discipline. That's what gave them the edge. You are no different. You have the same choice. You can run from pain and stay where you are, or you can face it and become who you were meant to be. You can use the pain or let the pain use you. But one thing is for sure, if you want to win, you have to be willing to suffer now for the success you want later. That's the price. And real winners, they don't just pay it, they pay it gladly, because they know what's on the other side is worth every second of the struggle. So embrace the pain. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to develop you. The mind is the battlefield. Everything you want to achieve, every goal you've set, every dream you carry, it all starts and ends in your mind. If your mind isn't strong, your body won't follow. If your thoughts aren't disciplined, your actions won't be consistent. If your mindset isn't right, your results never will be. That's the truth. The greatest enemy you'll ever face isn't out there in the world. It's the voice inside your head telling you to stop, to quit, to doubt yourself. And until you conquer that voice, until you train your mind to believe, to focus, to fight, you will always fall short of your full potential. Winning doesn't begin on the field, in the office, or in the gym. It begins the moment you decide in your mind that you will not lose, that no matter what comes your way, you will not fold, that no matter how long it takes, you will not quit. That kind of mental commitment changes everything, because when the obstacles come, and they will, you won't be surprised. You'll be ready. When the pain hits, and it will, you won't back down. You'll push harder. When people doubt you, and they will, you won't listen. You'll stay locked in. That's the power of a trained mind. But that kind of mental toughness doesn't happen overnight. You have to build it, just like a muscle. You've got to feed your mind with the right thoughts every day. You've got to challenge it, stretch it, discipline. That means waking up with purpose. That means choosing focus over distraction. That means speaking life into yourself when no one else will. It means rejecting negativity, shutting down self-doubt, and refusing to give fear any space in your mind. It means taking control of your mental environment, because what you think you become, most people lose in their minds long before they ever take the first step. They talk themselves out of trying. They convince themselves it's too hard. They see failure before they even begin. But winners, they see it differently. They train their minds to see opportunity in the struggle. They don't just hope things will work out. They believe without question that they will make it work. That belief becomes fuel. It becomes energy. It becomes the force that keeps them moving when everything says stop. And let me be real with you. It's not always easy to keep your mind strong. You'll face days when you feel broken. You'll face situations that shake your confidence. You'll hear voices from others and from within telling you that you're not good enough, not fast enough, not smart enough. But in those moments, you've got to choose what voice you're going to listen to. Are you going to feed the fear, or are you going to feed the fire? Because fear is always trying to steal your focus. It wants to make you second guess your path. It wants you to hesitate, and hesitation is the beginning of defeat. But focus, that laser sharp mindset that says I'm locked in and nothing can stop me, that's what wins. That's what creates momentum. That's what separates the average from the exceptional. You have to protect your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. What you let in becomes what you put out. If you constantly entertain negative thoughts, you'll live a negative life. But if you commit to a mindset of growth, of discipline, of belief, then no matter how tough the situation, you'll find a way through it. Your mind will lead you. Your mind will push you. Your mind will carry you when your body wants to give up. And don't think mental strength means you never struggle. Mental strength means you keep going through the struggle. It means when life knocks you down, your mind says, get up. It means when you hit a wall, your mind says, climb it, break it, find a way. It means when you lose, your mind says, we learn, we grow, and we come back stronger. That kind of mindset isn't common. It's rare, but it's available to anyone willing to work for it. So the question isn't whether you can win, it's whether you're willing to train your mind like a winner. Are you willing to take control of your thoughts every day? Are you willing to challenge your excuses, your doubts, your fears? Are you willing to lock in so completely that nothing and no one can pull you off your path? If you can say yes to that, really mean it, then there is nothing you can't overcome. Because once your mind is made up, your reality starts to shift. You stop waiting for motivation and start moving with discipline. You stop hoping for the best and start preparing for the fight. You stop reacting to life and start commanding it. That's the power of the mind. And once it's trained, focused, and relentless, there's no force on earth that can keep you from your goals. So decide right now. No more giving in to weakness. No more entertaining doubt. No more mental laziness. Train your mind every day like your success depends on it, because it does. You win in your mind first. And once you win there, the rest of the world doesn't stand a chance. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. Everyone has dreams. Everyone has hopes. But not everyone has the discipline to turn those dreams into reality. It's not motivation that builds success, it's consistency. And consistency comes from discipline. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is what shows up when motivation doesn't. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's saying no to distractions when your mind craves escape. It's showing up and doing the work even when nobody's watching and there's no immediate reward. When you say, I will win, what you're really saying is, I will outlast, outwork, and outdiscipline every excuse, every obstacle, every temptation that tries to pull me off track. Discipline is the muscle that allows you to keep moving forward when life gets hard, because life will test you. It will give you every reason to slow down, to give up, to settle. But discipline says, not today. Discipline is your internal commander, the one that drives you to be better even when no one's clapping for you. It's easy to be disciplined for a day. It's easy to work hard when everything's going well and the results are showing. But what separates winners from everyone else is that they stay disciplined even when it's hard, even when the progress is slow, even when the rewards seem far away. They keep going because they know that every step, every rep, every choice matters. They understand that success is not built in bursts, it's built in repetition, in the daily grind, in the small, unglamorous decisions made over and over again. You want to win? Then ask yourself this: can you stick to the plan when it stops being exciting? Can you keep your word to yourself even when no one else holds you accountable? Can you say no to the party? No to the shortcut, no to the easy way out, because those moments define your path. Winners aren't made during the highlight reel. They're made in the dark, behind closed doors, where the only voice pushing them forward is their own. Discipline is also about sacrifice. It's about choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. It's about delaying gratification and trusting the process. Most people want the reward without the work. They want the finish line without the training, but that's not how it works. Discipline forces you to be honest with yourself, to ask, are you doing what needs to be done, or are you just doing what's convenient? Because the road to victory is paved with choices that most people are unwilling to make. There will be times when you don't feel like showing up, times when your emotions try to take control. But discipline is not emotional. It doesn't care how you feel. It cares what you committed to. When you have discipline, your actions are no longer dependent on your mood. They're driven by your mission. That's how champions are built, not on good days, but on the days they refuse to let their feelings lead them. Discipline also requires clarity. You can't stay disciplined toward a goal you don't fully understand. You've got to know why you're doing what you're doing. What's the vision? What's the outcome you're chasing? That clarity becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded when life tries to pull you in 1,000 directions. When your why is strong enough, your discipline becomes unshakable. And remember this: discipline compounds. Just like interest in a bank account, the more consistent you are, the more it grows. The more you show up, the easier it becomes to keep showing up. Every day you make the right choice, you strengthen your identity as a disciplined person. And when you believe that about yourself, when you start to see yourself as someone who follows through, who keeps promises to themselves, you become unstoppable. Discipline builds confidence. Not the kind that comes from compliments or applause, but the deep, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing you've done the work. When you're disciplined, you don't have to hope things will go your way. You know you're ready. You put in the hours. You've done the hard things. You've shown yourself over and over again that you can be counted on. That's the kind of power discipline gives you. It makes you dependable. It makes you resilient. It gives you an edge. Because while others wait for the right mood, the right moment, the perfect timing, You're already moving. You're already grinding. You're already building. So if you really want to win, fall in love with discipline, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Because it's the one thing that guarantees results. No matter what your goal is, losing weight, building a business, becoming the best in your field, discipline is the foundation. It's the thing that keeps you moving when motivation fades and life gets tough. Stop chasing inspiration and start building discipline. Set your goals, make your plan, and then commit to showing up every day, no matter what. And if you fall, if you miss a day, if you slip, get back up. That's part of the process. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about saying, I may not feel like it, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's what winners do. That's how they rise. You want to win? Then earn it. Not with hype, not with talk, but with disciplined action, day in, day out. Because in the end, it's not the most talented, the most gifted, or even the most motivated who win. It's the most disciplined. Pain is a powerful teacher. It's not something we ask for, not something we welcome, but it's something that shapes us in ways comfort never could. Pain reveals who we are. It shows us what we're made of. It strips away the excuses, the lies, the illusions, and leaves behind the raw, unfiltered truth. It's in those moments of struggle, those moments of heartbreak, failure, and loss that our true character is forged. Because growth doesn't happen in easy seasons. Growth happens in the fire. You don't develop strength by coasting through life. You develop strength by going through something and deciding not to let it break you. And here's the reality. Pain is inevitable. You're going to get hurt. You're going to fail. People will betray you. Life will knock you down. That's not negativity. That's life. But what defines you is not the pain itself, it's how you respond. Do you let it define you, or do you rise from it stronger, wiser, more focused? Winners don't run from pain, they use it. They lean into it, they learn from it. Because pain has a purpose, if you're willing to see it. It's a signal, a wake-up call, a moment that says something has to change. Maybe it's your habits, maybe it's your mindset, maybe it's the people around you. Whatever it is, pain is a doorway to transformation, if you're brave enough to walk through it. Some of the most successful people in the world didn't get there because they had it easy. They got there because pain showed up and they chose to grow through it. They turned heartbreak into hunger. They turned losses into lessons. They turned rejection into redirection. And that's the mindset you need if you're serious about winning. You have to stop seeing pain as the end and start seeing it as the beginning. You may have been knocked down, but you're not knocked out. That pain you're feeling, it's not punishment, it's preparation. It's preparing you for something greater. It's building resilience. It's strengthening your resolve. Because the truth is, you won't appreciate the mountaintop if you haven't walked through the valley. The victories feel different when you bled for them. The success hits deeper when you suffered for it. Pain has a way of sharpening your focus. It makes you pay attention. It reveals what really matters. It makes you let go of things you should have dropped long ago. The fake friends, the bad habits, the limiting beliefs. Pain forces you to grow up. It forces you to evolve. You can't stay the same after pain. You either get better or you get bitter. That's the choice. And only one of those leads to winning. The beautiful thing about pain is that it humbles you. It reminds you that you're not invincible, that you still have work to do, but it also reminds you that you're human. And that means you're capable of growth. You may not be where you want to be, but the fact that you're still standing means you've got another shot. You've got another day to fight, to build, to become. And sometimes that pain becomes your fuel. It becomes the reason you wake up earlier, train harder, think smarter. It becomes your advantage. Let me tell you something powerful. There is no growth without discomfort. You can't build muscle without tearing the fibers. You can't develop a winning mindset without going through losses. And you can't appreciate joy without knowing what pain feels like. Pain gives life contrast. It gives success meaning. It makes gratitude real. So don't curse the pain, study it, learn from it, let it shape you. If you want to win, you need a relationship with pain. Not one where you fear it or avoid it, but one where you understand it. Pain is not the enemy. It's a mirror. It shows you where you're weak. It shows you what needs work. And once you face it head on, once you embrace the lessons, you start to transform. You begin to walk differently. You think differently. You act with more intention because now you know what it costs. Now you know what it takes. People who avoid pain avoid growth. People who face pain, who sit with it, who ask it what it came to teach them, those are the people who rise. They don't let the pain define their identity. They use it to refine their identity. Every scar becomes a reminder that they survived. Every wound becomes wisdom. And every painful chapter becomes part of a powerful comeback story. You don't have to love the pain, but you do have to respect it. You have to understand that it's part of the journey. It's not the obstacle, it's the path. And if you walk that path with faith, with discipline, with focus, then pain will no longer be something that breaks you. It'll be something that builds you. So the next time pain shows up, don't run. Don't hide. Stand tall and say, I see you, I feel you, but I'm not afraid of you. Let pain do its work and then do yours. Because in the end, it's not the pain that defines your story, it's how you respond. Will you let it break you or will you let it build you? Will you let it slow you down or will you let it fire you up? Pain is part of the process. And once you embrace that truth, once you understand that pain can push you toward your highest self, you'll stop dreading it and you'll start using it. You'll turn your wounds into wisdom, your scars into strength, and your pain into power. And with that mindset, you won't just survive, you will win. Success doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't appear out of thin air just because you wish for it, hope for it, pray for it. Success is a process, a slow, steady grind that demands patience, focus, and persistence. Too many people give up because they don't see results fast enough. They plant the seed and expect the fruit the next day. But the truth is, anything worth having takes time. It takes seasons of hard work. It takes failure. It takes showing up again and again, long after the excitement has worn off. When you say, I will win, you're not talking about a quick sprint. You're declaring your commitment to the long haul. You're agreeing to stay in the game even when the scoreboard says you're losing. You're saying, I will keep pushing, I will keep improving, I will keep believing even when nothing seems to be working, because you understand that success is not immediate, it's inevitable if you don't quit. We live in a world that celebrates instant results, fast food, fast internet, quick money, quick fame. But greatness doesn't work like that. Champions are built in silence. They're built in obscurity. They're built during years of work that no one sees. You don't get to win just because you want it. You get to win because you are willing to wait for it, work for it, and earn it. That's what the process is all about. It's not glamorous. It's not always fun, but it's always necessary. The process will test your patience. It will stretch your limits. It will make you question yourself. You'll ask, is it even worth it? You'll wonder, am I wasting my time? And that's where most people stop. They throw in the towel. They walk away from something that could have been great just because they didn't have the stamina to stick with it. But not you. You built different. You understand that every delay, every setback, every slow season is part of the journey. You don't complain about the process, you respect it. Success is not one big moment. It's a collection of small moments done right. It's the early mornings, the late nights, the weekends you sacrifice, the times you do the right thing when nobody's watching. It's in a boring repetition, the discipline to keep doing the work, the faith to believe that what you're doing will pay off even when there's no evidence yet. That's the process. And you can't cheat it. You can't skip steps. Every stage has a lesson. If you try to avoid it, life will bring you right back to it. You got to fall in love with the journey, not just the results. Because the journey is where you grow. The journey is where you build strength, character, resilience, and confidence. Everyone wants the trophy, but few are willing to train. Everyone wants the glory, but few want the grind. But the grind is where the magic happens. That's where winners are made. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not when things are easy, but when they're tough and you keep going anyway. Every setback you face, every time you feel stuck, every moment when progress feels invisible, that's the process doing its job. That's life asking, how bad do you want it? And your answer has to be bad enough to keep going. Even when no one's clapping, even when no one believes in you, even when your circumstances scream give up, you stay locked in, you stay committed because you trust that if you keep sowing, you will reap. Think about the people who have truly succeeded, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. They didn't rise overnight. They spent years sharpening their skills, building their mindset, preparing themselves for the moment when opportunity finally arrived. The process shaped them. It prepared them. Because if you're not ready, even the best opportunity will slip through your fingers. That's why the process matters. It turns you into the person capable of handling the success you're chasing. And here's something powerful. The process isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about becoming someone greater. When you commit to the journey, you're not just achieving a goal. You're building a legacy. You're becoming the kind of person who doesn't quit, who doesn't fold under pressure, who doesn't need immediate results to stay disciplined. That mindset alone is priceless. Patience is a superpower in a world that rewards speed. When everyone else is rushing, desperate for shortcuts, your calm consistency becomes your edge. You don't panic. You don't quit. You just keep going brick by brick, day by day, trusting that your time is coming, because it is coming. Success might not show up today. It might not show up this year, but if you stay committed, it will show up. And when it does, you'll know it wasn't luck. It wasn't random. It was the result of years of preparation, of sweat, of tears, of perseverance. It was earned. So keep showing up, keep putting in the work, keep trusting the process. You're not wasting time. You're building something that lasts, something real, something unshakable. And when your moment comes, you won't just win, you'll be ready for it. You know that every delay, every disappointment, every detour was necessary, because the process didn't just give you the prize, it made you worthy of it. When you declare I will win, you're not just talking about beating others. You're talking about becoming the best version of yourself. And to do that, you have to understand that every single day matters. Every decision you make, every habit you form, every action you take, these are the building blocks of your future. You can't afford to live casually and expect to achieve greatness. You can't move through life like you have unlimited time and still expect to win. You need intensity. You need focus. You need discipline. Success is not for the lazy, the lukewarm, or the half committed. It's for those who wake up every morning with the mindset that says, I'm coming for everything they said I couldn't have. There's a reason why most people don't win. It's not because they lack talent. It's not because they weren't born with potential. It's because they weren't willing to give everything they had to the process. They weren't consistent. They weren't focused. They weren't intentional. They thought they had time, but you don't have time to waste. You don't have time to put off your purpose. Every day you wait is a day you never get back. Every day you procrastinate is the day someone else is outworking you, outlearning you, and outdisciplining you. If you want to win, you need to treat each day like it's your last chance to get better. Success is not built in big leaps, it's built in small, consistent steps. The world rewards those who do the hard things day in and day out, even when they don't feel like it. You don't get to take days off from your goals and expect to stay on top. You don't get to hit snooze and still expect to rise. Winners grind when it's uncomfortable. They push when it's inconvenient. They sacrifice what's good for what's great. There's a price. That's the cost. And if you're not willing to pay it, you can't expect to hold the trophy at the end. You have to dominate your mornings. You have to own your schedule. You have to be ruthless with your focus, cut off distractions, get rid of excuses. Don't wait for motivation. It's fleeting. Build discipline, build habits, build structure, because motivation might get you started, but discipline is what gets you across the finish line. When you live with purpose, when every move you make is intentional, you become unstoppable. You walk different, you think different, you move different, because you know you're not playing games with your life. People who win don't do it by accident. They win because they choose to lock in. They choose to be relentless. They understand that being average is easy. Being great requires a level of commitment that most people simply aren't willing to give. And that's the separation. That's the difference. You can't say you want to win and still live like everyone else. You have to make decisions that align with the person you're becoming, not the person you used to be. You're not in competition with anyone else. You're in competition with your own potential. Every day, you have the opportunity to close the gap between where you are and where you could be. But that gap doesn't close with wishes. It closes with work. It closes with discipline. It closes with sacrifice. You don't get to talk about it. You have to be about it. Stop making promises you don't intend to keep. Stop saying, I'll do it tomorrow. Start showing up for yourself every single day, no matter how you feel. Your time is your most valuable asset. You can't waste it on negativity, on drama, on people who don't add value to your life. You can't waste it scrolling through distractions or chasing validation. Winners guard their time. They guard their energy. They make every moment count because they understand that time lost is success delayed. And they're not willing to delay what they've been working for. And don't think for a second that you have to be perfect. You're going to mess up. You're going to fall short. That's part of the process. But the goal is not perfection. It's progress. The goal is to be better today than you were yesterday. The goal is to never stop growing, never stop pushing, never stop learning. Every mistake is a lesson. Every failure is feedback. Every day is a new chance to get it right. So how bad do you want it? Bad enough to wake up early? Bad enough to stay up late? Bad enough to train when you're tired? Bad enough to say no to distractions and yes to discipline? Because if you really want to win, your life has to reflect that. Your habits have to reflect that. Your grind has to reflect that. The truth is, most people want to win, but they don't want to do what winning requires. They want the results, not the responsibility. They want the victory, not the effort, but not you. You're different. You're willing to do what others won't so you can have what others don't. You're willing to go all in. You're willing to give it your all. And that's why you'll win. Not by chance, not by luck, but because you were willing to live with intention every single day. Every day is a gift. Every day is an opportunity. Every day is a step closer to your goals or a step away from them. The choice is yours. Live with purpose. Move with urgency, grind with intensity. And no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, remember this. If you stay locked in, if you stay focused, if you give it everything you've got, then you will win.
Listen to me. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. You hear me? Some of you started the year with energy. You had goals. You had dreams. But somewhere along the line, you got tired, distracted, discouraged. Life hit you. But let me tell you something. Champions don't quit in the middle. Warriors don't tap out when it gets hard. You gotta dig deep and finish strong. You think the greats only worked when it was easy? No, they pushed when they were tired. They ran when their legs were shaking. Why? Because they understood. How you finish determines how they remember you. You might have messed up. You might have fallen short, but you still have time. Time to rewrite the story. Time to show your heart. Time to finish strong. So get up. Lock in, sacrifice, hustle, cry if you must, but don't you dare quit. You were born to finish strong. Let's go. Most people have no problem starting something. A new year rolls around and people flood the gyms, set resolutions, map out goals, and make promises to themselves. There's an energy that comes with new beginnings, a fire, something that makes you feel invincible. But here's the truth. Starting is easy. Everybody can start. What separates the average from the great, what divides the talkers from the doers is the ability to finish. You see, when we start something new, it's exciting. The journey ahead looks fresh and full of potential. There's no resistance yet. The vision is clear, the motivation is high, and it feels like nothing can get in our way. But then life shows up. Distractions come, challenges surface. The energy starts to fade. That same goal that had you jumping out of bed in January is now the same goal you buried under excuses by March. Because the truth is, the hype always dies. The motivation wears off, but the work remains. Finishing requires a different kind of muscle, a mental toughness, a level of commitment that says, even when I don't feel like it, I'm showing up. Because showing up once is easy. Showing up every single day, when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when you're not seeing results. That's the real test. That's where most people fall off. Not because they didn't have the talent, not because they weren't capable, but because they never learned how to endure. They never trained themselves to push past the emotion and stay consistent in the grind. You don't become great by starting something. You become great by finishing what you started. Think about every person you look up to, every athlete, entrepreneur, artist, or leader. They didn't just begin with big dreams. They followed through. They stayed the course when it was uncomfortable. They showed resilience in the face of failure. Starting got them on the field, but finishing earned them the respect, the success, the legacy. A lot of people confuse inspiration with transformation. Inspiration gets you moving, but only discipline gets you results. There's a crowd of people who love to start. New businesses, new habits, new ideas. But the problem is, they built a lifestyle of quitting. They're professional starters and habitual quitters. They never stay in the fight long enough to see the reward. And so they live in a cycle of restarting over and over again, never seeing progress, never reaching the level they're truly capable of. You have to be honest with yourself. Are you committed or are you just curious? Are you in it for the long haul or just a honeymoon phase? Because finishing requires sacrifice. It demands that you stay focused when everyone else is distracted. It calls for discipline on the days when you rather take the easy way out. It means showing up on the days you're drained because your purpose is bigger than your feelings. You have to understand, life will test you. It will test whether you're serious or just playing games. It'll test whether you want it badly enough to keep going when nobody's clapping for you, when there's no recognition, when the results are slow. Most people quit when the applause fades. But real growth, real success happens in the quiet moments, when it's just you, your work, and your will to keep pushing. And let me tell you something, there's power in finishing. There's something that happens inside you when you cross that finish line, when you honor your word, when you complete the thing you said you would. You build confidence, you gain momentum, you start trusting yourself. Every time you finish what you started, you prove to yourself that you are not like the rest. You are built different. You have grit. You have character. You don't need a crowd. You need a commitment. This isn't just about goals. It's about identity. Finishing transforms how you see yourself. It turns dreams into achievements. It makes you reliable, not only to others, but to yourself. When you become someone who finishes, your entire life starts to shift. People begin to respect you differently. Opportunities open up. Why? Because the world doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. Starting is important, yes, but it's the easy part. The hardest part is pushing through when the excitement is gone, when the pressure is high, when the setbacks pile up. That's where champions are made. That's where legends are built. You don't earn a name for yourself by starting 10 things. You earn it by finishing the one thing that everyone else gave up on. And don't think you need to feel perfect to finish. Some of the strongest finishes happen in the weakest moments. Some of the best outcomes come after the ugliest season. You might be limping to the finish line. You might be bruised, tired, undoubting yourself every step of the way. But what matters is that you cross it. What matters is that you don't let quitting become your legacy. Your story is still being written. And just because you started something and fell off doesn't mean it's over. You can pick it back up. You can recommit. You can decide right now that no matter how messy the middle has been, you're gonna finish strong. Because it's not how you started that defines you, it's how you finish. So whatever it is, that degree, that business, that fitness goal, that promise you made to yourself, don't walk away. Don't throw in the towel. You're not done until it's done. And when you do finish, not if, but when, you'll look back and realize that every early morning, every late night, every sacrifice, every moment of doubt, it was all worth it because you proved to yourself that you could. So yeah, starting is easy, but finishing, that's where the greatest lives. Pain is part of the process. That's not a cliche. That's not just a line you put on a poster or filter, unavoidable. If you want to grow, if you want to succeed, if you want to achieve something that matters, then you got to understand this. Pain is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's your trainer. It's the file that forges your character. You don't become strong by avoiding pain. You become strong by going through it, facing it, and rising because of it. Everyone wants the results. Everyone wants the dream. Everyone wants the body, the bank account, the business, the respect. But not everyone wants the process. And the process includes pain. The process includes failure. The process includes waking up early when you're exhausted. It includes showing up when you're hurting. It includes sacrifice, rejection, and doubt. It includes silence, when nobody is cheering for you, when you feel alone, when you question if it's even worth it. But that's the cost of greatness. That's the path every champion walks. The pain you feel in the process is the very thing that separates you from everyone else who just talks. Anybody can say they want it. Anybody can write down a goal, but pain demands action. It asks, are you willing to keep going when it gets hard? Are you willing to show up broken? Are you willing to bleed for it? Or because if you're not serious. If you quit when it hurts, you were never all in to begin with. Pain is a signal. It tells you you're growing. Think about it. When you go to the gym and push your muscles to the limit, what happens? You get sore. That soreness is pain, yes, but it's not bad pain. It's necessary. It means you tore something so it could rebuild stronger. That's life. That's goals. That's growth. Whether it's emotional, mental, physical, or discomfort is part of the development. The ones who grow are not the ones who run from, not the ones who run from pain. They're the ones who embrace it. They've learned how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. They've stopped trying to escape the fire. Instead, let the fire refine them. They let the adversity mold their character. They turn losses into lessons. They turn rejection into redirection. And through it all, they become unshakable. Now, here's the part most people don't talk about. Pain is going to come whether you're chasing your dream or staying in your comfort zone. The difference is the kind of pain you're going to feel. You can feel the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You can suffer now and grow later, or take it easy now and suffer later. Either way, pain is coming. But only one path leads to greatness. Discipline hurts. Waking up at 4 a.m. to chase your dream hurts. Saying no to distractions, turning down parties, missing out on short-term fun for long-term gain. It all hurts. But so does waking up one day and realizing you wasted your potential. So does looking in the mirror and knowing you settled. So does living a life full of what ifs. That's pain too, only it doesn't make you stronger. It makes you bitter. Choose your pain wisely. Pain also reveals who you are. It strips away the fake. It removes the surface level motivation and tests your core. When everything is going well, it's easy to smile, to show up, to speak confidently. But when you're in pain, when you're in the valley, when everything's going against you, that's when your real self shows up. That's when your character is exposed. Are you someone who fights through it or folds under pressure? Pain isn't just something to survive. It's something to use. You can let it break you or you can let it build you. You can let it push you into depression or let it fuel your purpose. Some of the most successful people on the planet didn't get there in spite of pain. They got there because of it. They took their heartbreak and used it as hunger. They took their failure and used it as fire. They turned their pain into power. You've got to reframe how you see it. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Because pain always has a lesson. Maybe it's teaching you to be more patient. Maybe it's preparing you for something greater. Maybe it's showing you who's really there for you. Or maybe it's reminding you just how bad you want it. Every struggle has something to give you, but you'll only get it if you stop running and start listening. And don't think you're alone in it. Everyone you admire, the athletes, the business leaders, the visionaries, they all went through it. They cried, they doubted, they broke down, but they didn't give up. You're not weak because you feel pain. You're human. What makes you strong is what you do with it. Do you let it define you or do you let it refine you? This road you're on, it's not supposed to be easy. If it were, everyone would do it. If it were, success would mean nothing. But because it's hard, because it's painful, because it demands everything you got, that's why it's worth it. That's what makes finishing so powerful. Not that you got there without a scratch, but that you got there despite the wounds. Pain forces you to grow. It teaches you that you're more resilient than you thought. It shows you your limits and then dares you to break them. It humbles you, then strengthens you. It prepares you for the next level. Without pain, you stay the same. You get soft. You take things for granted. But pain, real pain, keeps you sharp. It keeps you grounded, and it reminds you just how hungry you really are. So the next time it hurts, the next time you feel broken, tired, and like nothing's working, don't run. Don't back down. Look it in the eye. Embrace it. Learn from it. Push through it. Because on the other side of that pain is the version of you that's stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more focused, and more powerful. Greatness has a price, and pain is part of the payment. So if you're hurting right now, that means you're in the process. That means you're becoming. And when you make it through, when you look back, you'll realize that the pain didn't stop you. It shaped you. Most people start with excitement. They start with energy. They're pumped up, talking big, making promises, setting goals, posting about their grind. And don't get it twisted. Starting is important. You've got to begin somewhere. But let me tell you something even more important than how you start, how you finish. Because starting is easy. Everybody can start, but finishing, that takes endurance. That takes grit. That takes grit. That takes a kind of resilience that doesn't depend on feelings. It depends on commitment. The reason finishing is rare is because the journey gets real. When you first set a goal, your vision is clear, the path looks bright, and your motivation is high. But as you go, life starts throwing punches. Things don't go according to plan. The road gets bumpy. People disappoint you. Progress slows down. You get tired. You start questioning yourself. And that's where most people quit. Not because they weren't capable, but because they weren't consistent. Consistency is a separator. It's what turns potential into performance. Talent might help you start. Motivation might help you start, but only consistency will help you finish. You can't rely on emotions. You can't rely on inspiration. You gotta be disciplined enough to show up on the days when it's boring, when it's painful, when it's quiet, when no one is clapping for you, when no one sees the hours you're putting in. That's when consistency is built, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna fall off sometimes. But what matters is that you get back up and keep going. You don't have to be the best every day. You just have to keep showing up. You just have to keep taking steps forward. Because even a small step every day is better than a giant leap once a month. The power isn't in what you do once. It's in what you do daily. Consistency is a habit. It's not a move. It's a mindset that says, I don't care how I feel. I'm still going to get it done. It's brushing your teeth every day, not just when you feel like it. It's going to the gym even when you're sore. It's studying even when your brain is tired. It's putting in the reps over and over until mastery is your default. Because success is not one big moment. It's the sum of thousands of small decisions made with discipline. Look at anybody who has accomplished something meaningful, and you'll find consistency at the core of their story. Athletes who train through injury, entrepreneurs who grind through failure, artists who create through doubt. None of them got there overnight. They got there because they kept showing up. They got there because they understood that greatness isn't built in spurts, it's built in systems. Systems of daily habits, systems of accountability, systems of discipline. Let me break this down even further. Consistency isn't always exciting. In fact, it's often repetitive. It can feel mundane. It can feel like nothing's happening. You keep working, keep trying, and it seems like the results aren't coming. But that's where the breakthrough is forming quietly, slowly, beneath the surface, like a seed underground. It looks like nothing's growing. But keep watering, keep showing up. Eventually, it sprouts. Eventually, it breaks through. But only for those who stay consistent long enough to see it bloom. This is why you need a strong why. If your reason is weak, your consistency will be weak. You need a purpose that pulls you, that wakes you up, that makes quitting not an option. Your why has to be bigger than your feelings, bigger than your fear, bigger than your fatigue. Because when your why is power, consistency becomes natural. You're not just working toward a goal, you're working to become the kind of person who finishes what they start. Consistency doesn't just build results, it builds confidence. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you're telling yourself, I can trust me. You're proving to yourself that you're reliable, that you're disciplined, that you can do hard things. That confidence multiplies. And pretty soon, you start attacking bigger goals with more belief. You stop needing external validation because you built an internal standard, a standard that says, I finish what I start. And here's the thing, consistency is contagious. When you show up with excellence over and over, people start noticing. Opportunities start opening, doors start unlocking. Doors start unlocking. Not because you shouted the loudest, but because you delivered the longest. Reputation is built through consistency. Trust is built through consistency. And trust is what leads to impact. You can't influence anyone if they don't trust your follow through. Now, this doesn't mean you can never pivot. Sometimes you realize a goal or path isn't right for you. That's fine. But there's a difference between quitting because something no longer aligns with your values. Ain't quitting because it got hard. Don't confuse discomfort with misalignment. Growth is uncomfortable. Excellence uncomfortable. But if the goal still matters to you, fight for it. Stay locked in. Be consistent on purpose. People think they need more motivation, but most of the time what they really need is a routine, a system, a schedule that keeps them aligned even when motivation fades. Set your environment up for success. reminders where you can see them. Track your habits, celebrate the small wins, build momentum through movement. Because when you make consistency convenient, results become inevitable. Let's be real. Nobody's gonna do it for you. Nobody's gonna wake you up. Nobody's gonna hold your hand. You've gotta take ownership of your dream. And the most powerful way to own your dream is to be consistent with it. That means doing it when it's hard, doing it when it's slow, doing it when nobody is watching. That's how legacies are built brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. There's a saying, success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. That's the truth. You can't post one video and expect to go viral. You can't go to the gym twice and expect abs. You can't read one book and expect wisdom. You got to live in the process. You've got to show up daily. You've got to respect the grind. When you're consistent, the results will come, but not always on your timeline. That's the test. Can you keep going even when the payoff is delayed? Can you trust the process even when it's silent? The world tells you that success should be fast, but real success, sustainable success, is slow. It takes time to build something that lasts, and only those who are consistent enough to outlast the delay will ever see the reward. So today, make a choice. Decide that you won't be someone who just starts. You'll be someone who finishes. Decide that you're not chasing a moment. You're building a lifestyle. Decide that no matter how you feel, you'll keep going. Because consistency is your superpower. It's the trait that will carry you when motivation fades, when emotions fluctuate, when life gets hard. Finish strong. Not just because you want to win, but because you said you would. Let consistency be your character. Let it be the proof of your passion. Let it be the reason why, when people talk about reliability, your name comes up. Because while others are starting and stopping, you'll still be going. And when the dust settles, you won't just be remembered as someone who began with excitement. You'll be remembered as someone who finished with excellence. When you get to the end of a journey, you don't want to limp across the finish line full of regret, disappointment, or excuses. You want to cross it with pride, with your head high, with a heart full of fire, knowing you gave everything you had. That's what finishing strong means. It means refusing to let fatigue, distractions, or setbacks rob you of your full potential. It means staying true to the mission, even when it's tough, even when it's silent. Even when it feels like no one else cares. Because how you end something speaks louder than how you began. The world remembers the finish. You might be tired. Life might have hit you hard. You might have started the year, the project, or the journey full of goals and dreams, but somewhere along the way, things changed. You got discouraged, you got distracted, you lost focus. Maybe you even stopped believing. But listen to me, you're still here. That means the game isn't over. That means you still have time. That means no matter how you started, no matter what you've lost, no matter what people said about you, you still have the power to finish strong. There's a reason the last lap of a race is the hardest. That's where champions are made. That's when your body is screaming to quit, when your mind is begging for rest, when everything in you says, I've done enough. But champions don't listen to that voice. Champions dig deep. Champions remind themselves of why they started. Champions don't look for an easy way out. They look for the strength to push through. And that's what you have to do. You've come too far to stop now. You fought too many battles to let the end slip away. Finishing strong requires a mindset shift. You've got to stop thinking like a victim and start thinking like a finisher. You've got to stop blaming the world for your position and start owning your choices. There's no room for pity at the finish line. Only proof that you were willing to go the distance, proof that you stayed focused, proof that you refused to let pressure break you. Pressure reveals character, and the pressure of the finish line reveals whether you're truly committed to your vision or just in love with the idea of success. See, anyone can be committed when things are going well. Anyone can be locked in when they're winning. But the true test of commitment, what you do when it feels like you're losing, when the path isn't clear, when the people around you aren't cheering, that's when you find out if your goals are just words, if they're non-negotiable. That's when finishing strong becomes a decision, not an emotion. A decision to give everything, even if no one sees it. A decision to pour out your heart, even if there's no applause. And understand this, Finishing strong is not about perfection. It's not about having everything go right. It's about refusing to give up no matter what went wrong. You might have fallen off your plan. You might have wasted time. You might have doubted yourself. That's okay. What matters is what you do now. What matters is that you make a choice right here and right now to close the gap between who you've been and who you want to be. That gap is closed not in one massive action, but in a series of focused, determined steps taken daily, regardless of how you feel. Emotions are real, but they're not reliable. If you wait to feel ready, you'll never finish. If you wait for ideal circumstances, you'll never complete the race. That's why people don't finish strong. They keep waiting for the stars to align, for motivation to return, for someone to push them. But no one's coming to save you. This is your race, your dream, your responsibility. And that's good news, because it means you don't have to wait on anyone else. You have everything you need inside of you to finish strong. But finishing strong doesn't just happen by accident. It takes strategy. It takes intention. You've got to protect your focus. You've got to say no to distractions. You've got to remove excuses. Sometimes that means cutting off things that drain you. Sometimes that means walking away from people who don't align with your vision. Finishing strong means prioritizing your purpose over your pleasure. It means scheduling your grind instead of waiting to feel inspired. It means being ruthless with your time and relentless in your follow through. And don't forget, finishing strong also means finishing your race, not someone else's. Too many people get caught up comparing their journey to someone else's timeline, but you can't measure your finish line by someone else's math. You're not in competition with them. You're in competition with who you were yesterday. And your only goal should be to close the gap between your current self and your best self. Finishing strong is about being the best. It's about being better. It's about being better. Stronger than you were. More disciplined, more focused, more committed than you were. Sometimes the hardest part about finishing strong is believing that you still can. Life has a way of draining our belief. It knocks us down and whispers lies that say we're not enough, that we've missed our chance, that it's too late. But let me be clear, not too late. As long as you're breathing, there's still time. Time to refocus, time to rebuild, time to reclaim your power. You're not too far gone. You're not disqualified. You're not broken beyond repair. You're still in the fight. You're still capable. And most importantly, you're still needed. This world needs people who finish, people who keep promises to themselves, people who don't let their circumstance define their outcome, people who lead by example, not with empty words, but with powerful action. The world is full of starters, full of dreamers, but what it lacks are finishers. People who push through, people who deliver, people who complete what they begin. That's who you're called to be. That's the legacy you're meant to leave. And when you finish strong, it's not just about you. It's about the people watching, the people counting on you, your children, your team, your community, your future self. Finishing strong sends a message that's I'm reliable, I'm dependable, I can be trusted with the vision. It creates momentum, it inspires belief. It opens doors for others to walk through because they saw you keep going when it got hard. So take a breath. Wipe the sweat from your face, square your shoulder, and lock in. The finish line is close, and it doesn't matter how far behind you feel. What matters is that you don't stop. Don't crawl when you can run. Don't sleep when you can rise. Don't coast when you can charge forward. This is your time, your moment, your opportunity to prove to yourself and the world that you are not defined by how you started, but by how you finish. Finish strong for your goals, for your growth, for your legacy, for your future. You got what it takes. Now show the world what it looks like to finish with purpose, with power, with pride, because you're not just someone who had potential. You're someone who fulfilled it. You have to understand something powerful. Your past does not define your future. What's behind you doesn't get to determine what's ahead of you, unless you let it. Far too many people carry the weight of their failures, their regrets, and their disappointments like a heavy backpack everywhere they go. They wear it as a label, not enough, a too late, a failure. But you have to rip those labels off. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your bad decisions. You are not your missed opportunity. You are a work in progress, and progress is still possible. One of the most paralyzing mindsets you can adopt is believing that just because something went wrong yesterday, it has to go wrong today. Just because you failed last time doesn't mean you're doomed to fail again. That's not true. That's fear talking. That's shame talking. And shame will lie to you, and shame will lie to you every time. Shame will try to convince you that you're stuck, that you've already blown your chance, that your best days are behind you. But let me be real with you. Your best days are ahead if you decide they are. And that decision begins in your mind. The mind is a powerful place. If you live in the past mentally, then that's where your life will stay. If you wake up every day replaying old losses, old conversations, and old wounds, you'll never have the strength to build something new. You'll never find the energy to finish strong if your energy is being drained by what's already over. You have to make peace with the past, not because it was fair, not because it didn't hurt, but because it's over. What's done is done. What matters now is what you do next. You got to change the story you're telling yourself. Are you telling yourself that you're behind? That you'll never catch up? That you don't deserve to finish strong because you didn't start strong? That mindset will keep you defeated before you even begin. The truth is, everyone has a chapter they don't read out loud. Everyone has something in their past they wish they could erase. But finishing strong isn't about erasing the past. It's about redeeming it. It's about taking what tried to break you and turning it into the fuel that drives you forward. Think about it. Some of the greatest success stories didn't begin with triumph. They began with pain. They began with a rock bottom. They began in a place of failure. But those people didn't stay there. They made a decision to grow, to evolve, to become stronger, wiser, better. And you can make that same decision. You are not disqualified because of what you've been through. You're prepared. You're prepared. Every setback was training. Every mistake was a lesson. Every heartbreak was shaping you. Nothing was wasted, unless you choose to waste it. The difference between those who finish strong and those who give up isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not even intelligence. It's mindset. It's the belief that the future can still be different from the past. It's the discipline to keep going, even when you don't feel like you deserve a second chance. It's the courage to try again, knowing you might fail again, but refusing to let that stop you. Because finishing strong isn't about being fearless. It's about pushing through fear. You've got to forgive yourself. I don't care what happened last year, last month, or even yesterday. If you don't forgive yourself, you won't move forward. Self-forgiveness isn't weakness. It's not pretending like the pain didn't happen. It's strength. It's looking in the mirror and saying, yes, I made mistakes, but I'm not a mistake. I fell short, but I'm not staying there. I've got more to do. I've got a purpose to fulfill. You have to talk to yourself like someone worth fighting for because you are. The truth is, growth is messy. It's uncomfortable. It's inconsistent. You will slip. You will struggle. You will question yourself. But that's part of the process. That's part of what makes the finish so powerful, because it wasn't easy. You didn't cruise to the end. You clawed your way there. You endured. You persevered. You matured. And because of that, the victory is even sweeter. Sometimes the biggest battle is not with your circumstances, it's with your self-image. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Do you see someone capable of finishing strong or someone doomed to repeat the past? Your self-image will either fuel your finish or sabotage. That's why you have to renew your mind every day. You have to speak life over yourself. You have to remind yourself of who you really are, not who you used to be, not who they said you were, but who you were created to be. Strong, focused, determined, capable. You are not limited by your past unless you let your past become your identity, and you're not here by accident. There's a reason you're still standing. There's a reason you didn't give up. You've got something inside of you that's stronger than the pain, stronger than the pain, stronger than the regret. That something is your purpose. That something is your fire. That something is the part of you that knows you're meant for more. So no more excuses. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more rehearsing the past like it's your destiny. It's time to break free. It's time to start running again. Maybe not fast, maybe not flawlessly, but forward. Always forward. Because finishing strong isn't about speed. It's about direction. And if you're moving in the right direction, even slowly, you're still on the path to greatness. Let your past be your testimony, not your tombstone. Let it remind you of how far you've come, not how far you fell. You've already survived the worst days of your life. Now it's time to build your best ones. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You don't even need to feel confident. You just need to decide that you're not going to, you just need to decide. When people see you finish strong, they'll ask how you did it, and you'll be able to say, I stopped living in the past. I stopped punishing myself. I got back up. I changed my mindset. I remembered who I am. That's power. That's resilience. That's legacy. So walk forward. Run forward. If you need to, but keep going. The past has no hold on you anymore, unless you turn around and give it permission. Keep your eyes ahead. Keep your spirit strong and finish this thing with everything you've got. Not because your past was perfect, but because your future still has a chance to be. Every journey demands a conclusion, but the kind of ending you write depends entirely on the story you're willing to fight for. Too many people coast into the finish line of life, dragging their regrets behind them like chains, convinced that because they stumbled, they're not allowed to win. But I want you to shift that thinking. I want you to throw away every narrative that says you aren't enough. Because the truth is, the conclusion isn't about perfection. It's about perseverance. It's about who you become by refusing to quit. When you think about what it means to finish strong, I don't want you to think about trophies or applause. I don't want you to picture a crowd cheering or a podium with your name on it. I want you to think about those quiet moments, the ones nobody sees, when you could have stayed down but got back up anyway. The nights when the weight of your past tried to crush your future and you pushed through with just a flicker of belief. The mornings when your reflection didn't look like a champion. You walked like one anyway. That's what it means to finish strong. It means choosing discipline over defeat, faith over fear, effort over excuses. You've got to understand that the strength to finish strong doesn't arrive at the end. It's something you build along the way. And the bricks you build it with are made of your choices. You choose to speak life over your circumstances. You choose to believe in possibility instead of staying stuck in pain. You choose to move, even if your steps are shaky. Because the moment you choose growth, you've already won half the battle. Finishing strong isn't one grand gesture. It's a million small decisions stacked on top of each other. Like stones in a wall you refuse to let fall. There will be people who doubt you. There will be people who bring up your past, who remind you of every failure, every misstep, every flaw. And that's okay. Let them talk. Because while they're talking, you're transforming. While they're pointing fingers, you're pointing forward. While they're stuck in yesterday, you're grinding for tomorrow. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your evolution. You just owe yourself the commitment to never stop growing. What finishing strong really comes down to is how well you know yourself, not the version others tried to define you as, but the real you. The one who has faced storms and scars and setbacks but still wakes up hungry for more. The one who's been misunderstood, overlooked, and underestimated yet keeps showing up. That's who you are. You're not a victim of your past. You're a survivor, a builder, a finisher. Sometimes finishing strong means doing the hard things when nobody's watching. It means setting boundaries. It means staying disciplined when motivation fades. It means sacrificing comfort to chase greatness. You might have to walk away from old habits. You might have to say no to people who want you to stay the same. You might have to isolate for a season so you can elevate in the next. That's the cost of transformation. That's the price of legacy. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being better than who you used to be. Your conclusion isn't just for you. Someone's watching you. Someone needs your example. Somebody out there is wondering if it's still possible to turn things around, and they're looking at your life to find out. That means finishing strong is bigger than personal pride. It's about purpose. It's about impact. It's about making sure the story sends the message of, yes, I struggled. Yes, I failed. Yes, I almost gave up. But I did. And because I did, you don't have to either. There's a version of you in the future that's waiting for you to show up. That version of you has peace. That version of you has clarity, purpose, and strength. That version of you has overcome the cycles you thought would never break. But you can't meet that version if you stay stuck in shame. You can't become that version if you keep believing the lie that it's too late. Let me tell you, it's not too late. As long as you have breath in your body, there is time to rewrite the ending. There is time to create something meaningful. There is time to start again. Not from the beginning, but from wisdom, from maturity, from experience, you have what it takes. Not because everything is perfect in your life, but because you've been equipped through your pain. Your journey didn't happen to punish you, it happened to prepare you. Every tear, every heartbreak, every closed door gave you something. Perspective, tenacity, resilience. Now it's your turn to take all of that and turn it into action. The time for waiting is over. The time for wishing is over. Now is the time to move with urgency, to wake up with purpose, to finish with fire. Your legacy will not be determined by how flawless your path was. It will be determined by how faithful you were to keep walking, even when the path wasn't clear, even when the support wasn't there, even when everything in you said quit, you kept going. That's how you finish strong. You do it by embracing the hard parts, by learning from the mess, by refusing to let the end of your story be written by fear. You don't need a grand moment of inspiration to begin. You just need to make a choice to show up, a choice to take the next right step, a choice to hold yourself to a higher standard, not because others expect it, but because you deserve it. You deserve to see what's possible when you give it everything you've got. You deserve to experience what happens when you stop doubting and start doing. Maybe you were counted out. Maybe life knocked you down more times than you can count. Maybe the road ahead looks long and uncertain, but none of that disqualifies you. In fact, it's the very reason why your finish will be powerful, because you overcame, because you didn't fold, because you chose to turn your pain into purpose. That's what makes your story worth telling. Not the easy parts, but the hard-won victory at the end. So whatever season you're in, whether you're tired, discouraged, confused, or just unsure, remember this: your ending is not determined by how you started. Your breakthrough is not blocked by your breakdown. There is still something great inside of you. There is still a dream that can rise. There's still strength left in your hands and fire left in your heart. All you have to do is lean and finish. Don't waste another day waiting for the perfect moment. This is the moment. Right now, this is your chapter. This is your turn. This is your redemption arc. No matter how messy it's been, no matter how long it's taken, no matter how many times you failed, you're still in it. And as long as you're still in it, you can finish strong. Not just for the applause, not just for the recognition, but for the peace that comes when you know you gave it your all. For the joy of knowing you didn't give up on yourself. For the satisfaction of becoming who you were always meant to be. You have everything you need. The tools are in your hand. The fire is in your soul. Now it's time to use it. Time to rise, time to run, time to finish strong. Let your life speak louder than your past. Let your actions speak louder than your fears. Let your finish speak louder than your pain. Because in the end, that's what people will remember, not the stumble, not the setback, but the strength of the one who never stopped moving forward. That person is you. Finish strong.